Really, last night I had asked for a motion to close, but I shouldn't have, because it's really a recess as opposed to that, so just a procedural issue there. But now we'll just reconvene, and we have weights and measures as our next.
Good evening. Just presenting the budget for this year. The only change from last year, and actually the last couple of years, is I asked for $200 more in repair and maintenance. I don't know if you're aware, I have a slide improver unit on the back of our truck, and it's approximately 15 years old. There's just some seals and things like that. Gas is caustic, it's eaten away. So I'm just gonna have to have a little bit to take care of those. And other than that, the budget is the same.
All right. I don't believe this is the first time this has happened, but maybe I'll just mention it because it says our adopted budget on the front for salaries is $50,655 from last year for 2026. And then for this year, it's $50,655, which is the same. But if you flip back to the green sheet, it says 2026 is $48,967.
Because we have 27 pays this year.
Okay.
So there's an extra pay on the 26th salary.
So that's why it's slightly
Yes, that's
different.
why there would be a difference.
Okay, super.
And I am thankful to accept that extra money.
Or it's actually carried from the prior year, right?
Yes.
It's a timing thing.
Yes.
It's a timing.
Right on. Okay. Very good. Yes, with that, the chair would entertain a motion regarding Category 2 supplies for $550, other services and charges Category 3 for $3,000, and capital outlays Category 4 for $300.
So moved.
All right, thank you, Mr. Caudell. Do we have a second? Second. All right, thank you, Mr. Brinkle. We have a motion and a second to approve those items out of this budget for weights and measures. Anybody have any questions or comments? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, next we have the veterans budget.
First time up here, my name's Adam Croucher, new Veteran Service Officer. I'll try to present the budget best I can. Before Jeff left, I think he helped April with writing it up, so it seems about the same, other than the personnel costs. And requested for next year is up $8,000 overall. You're working on keeping most of the other operating costs the same as far as supplies and everything, travel.
It does look like everything's the same.
Good, so you're ready for motion. I'll move that we approve categories 2 and 3 as presented, as requested.
All right. Thank you, Mr. McCourt.
Second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Caudell. Anybody have any questions?
Just so you know, we approved everything about personal services the first time through. So after we get all the numbers and look at things, and then we address the personal services. So,
Good to know for the future.
Yeah, appreciate that. All right. No other questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have area plan.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Thank you for having us up here. Schedule me up early. Overall, just bottom line, just go to the bottom line is our budget request is $5,026 less than what we asked for last year. and no new budget line items. We increased a few line items, and if we'd like to discuss any of these, I am up for that discussion.
Yeah, the only increase I saw was photo, blueprinting, and legal. It was 1,500 and asking for 2,500.
Right.
Supplies went up 500 as well. Supplies is 500 and equipment 500.
Right, and then supplies, we're doing the best we can to reduce like paper use. I've been surprised coming into county government how much paper we're pushing around. And then this year with the hail damage and stuff that we've had, we've got a record number of permits. So I will be coming and asking for some movement within our budget for this year to increase our supply budget, because just seriously, it's just paper. And then as we put the postings for putting the permits up, we laminate those, they last. And those lamination sheets are, a little expensive, I guess, and
just took mine off.
for what they are.
I just took mine off the window. I think every tenant or every house in Sweetser has one of those this year.
Right. So we've certainly surpassed like last 10-year records for permits, so it just creates a lot of paper, which I'm trying to reduce and be as efficient as we can. And then the legal costs, we're going to work really hard at cleaning up a lot of the homes and other business sites that need to be demoed. Don't want to ask for any more in the demo fund. I want to try to recoup as much as this from the owners as possible, because they're the responsible people, not the citizens, which may lead into some legal costs that increase. So maybe be prepared for that in 2027. But I don't think it's the burden of the people to take on what people own that need to be taken care of.
Say in a perfect world, yeah, I'd be hopeful we can recoup this cost, but yeah.
It will take some, because what we've tried in the last year of asking and, threatening of fines and so on hasn't really worked for the demoing. And it's also a little aggravating to take a property and then actually increase the value of that property by cleaning it up, and it's still theirs and the citizens pay for it. That's really pretty hard to stomach.
What percentage of that do you normally recoup from the owners?
It's been a pretty low amount in the past. It has been a deal that's struck at the court level, right? And so I only have a handful of those to go by. I'd like to increase that. And I know we have a lot in our smaller towns like Van Buren and Fairmount, Jonesboro, where we will, work out a deal with the towns, what they can pitch in, what the owners can pitch in, or maybe a new owner can pitch in, and what we can pitch in. Just to clean some really bad places up that are, multiple sites. But when it comes down to a single place, I don't know how much we'll be able to recoup.
Do you have the ability to put a lien on the property versus going after them legally?
So the cycle goes, we make notices. We put out you could have these potential fines. We can go to then court, get a lien on the property. The property's devaluing over all this time. They probably bought the property in a long time that's already distressed. And then it goes into tax sale. Or then it goes into the commissioner's tax sale, in which the lien then is scrubbed clean, and we still don't recoup. So we've got a vicious cycle that's going on that's, in our office's mind, pretty aggravating. We want to try to break these cycles.
But the tax sale though, it wouldn't be wiped off, but if it goes to the commissioner's sale, it is. Same as a foreclosure, it'd get wiped off then too, but if it's just sold as a tax sale, your lien would still
It'll
stand.
still be there.
Yeah.
Right. And then if that lien's worth more than what the property's worth, we're back in that catch-22.
Yep, there you are.
So if somebody buys a property on a tax sale, there's a lien, then that person would have to pay the lien?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It still hangs with it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to prioritize these, you know, if we have, I think we all know, some buildings in Jonesboro, we have events there, there's a lot of people there, that becomes like a danger, higher priority to people. If it is a falling down barn that's a quarter mile off the road in the country, that's like on the lower end of our priorities.
Yep.
So that's the way we're looking at it. We also get a lot of help from the highway department and their off time, and that is a huge help. So thank you very much.
All right, the chair to entertain a motion regarding category 2, 3, and 4, I think as presented.
So moved, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brinkle. Moves to approve.
Second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Scott. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved, thank you. Next, we got the unsafe building fund. We didn't do that one.
Yeah, that is a separate.
Which it looks like
But again,
same amount as what was requested.
right, I don't want to change that.
Yep.
I think that's what I believe it's designed for. The way I look at it is that's a revolving fund so that we can get something going, you know, get some dumpsters, get a building down, you know, sooner than later. But then within the court documents, the owner is to reimburse us for that. So it helps us to be able to get things done a little faster.
I move for approval.
All right,
Of the category 3 as presented.
thank you, Mr. McWhorter.
If I find a way next year, you know, a good reason to increase it, I might ask, but unless I have a better plan.
And that is over the total fund, since that's the only category, so that fund would be complete.
Yes, that 55,000 is it. Do I have a second? Second. All right, thank you, Mr. Scott. We have a motion and a second, basically to approve this fund for 2027. Hearing no other questions or comments, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed, same sign. Motion carries, that fund is approved. Thank you.
Good time maybe to discuss this a little bit though too. There's an issue with receipts that your department's gonna be collecting. There's a change. The receipts that he receives are gonna go into a separate, I'm gonna call it revolving fund, I guess. It's a separate fund for the receipts for your department. That, so usually they go to general fund. Beginning in 27, they're gonna go to a separate fund. Now, I guess one question is, do we need to budget that fund next year when you start getting money, or in 27? You know, once you start getting money, there'll be money in that fund. Do we need to budget it at that time before you can use it?
I'll defer to you, but
I'm not sure.
You know, like the Unsafe building fund, we have to budget that before you use it. So I'm assuming once you get money in that fund,
then we can.
then you come to us to budget. Now, it may not be until next year at this time you'll budget to use in 28. That may be the case.
Yes.
But,
That's what I figured.
yeah, that makes sense, I think.
Right. I know all of our fees and fines will go into that. And another part of that legislation was for us to look at our fee and fine schedule, which well, I have drafted something. It's going to be in front of the APC. And that the fees are supposed to be based upon what it costs for us to do whatever that permit is. And one of the things in our ordinance that we didn't have well scoped out is a fee list, an appendix list of all the fees, and then documentation within the body of the ordinance where they fit together. right? So it describes what the permit would be for, and then in the table, what the actual fee would be. And so I based it on, took in all the considerations of our time, fully weighted time it takes to, let's say, go get a roofing permit, the mileage it takes for the vehicles, and then the paperwork it takes for us to document from a permits clerk standpoint, registration, et cetera.
Is it intended to just meet the cost of your supplies, so to speak, or is it including staffing costs?
As I understand it, it's not meant for us to be self-supportive.
Okay.
The way it sounds, there are counties in which their fees are so high that they're making money, that it's more money. They want to have a more fair fee structure so that the fees are a little more exorbitant than what it's costing.
Well, and my thought would be, of course, obviously you don't want the fees to be out of the whack as far terribly high, but my thought would be when we do the 28 budget, it could be some of what we're seeing in the general fund now is expense. We budgeted in that fund instead of the general fund. That's what I would see.
Right. So what I was thinking, looking forward, was our code enforcement truck is pretty old. I can't remember what the year is exactly. That's going to need replaced at some point, and we could use that money instead of coming back and asking for a big, large lump sum. We'll have that money there.
Of course, in a sense, depending on how much the fees are bringing in compared to what it is now, but it doesn't help our general fund any. You're taking money out of the general fund, so in a sense, you can't look at it being differently as far as the overall, what it's costing the county. It's still costing us, whether it be out of that special fund or whether it's out of the general fund.
Right. And if that makes it easier to have that money already set aside for a large cost, well, I mean, we can discuss that.
At the time,
either way.
Right. When it's time, we can discuss that. But bottom line is, some of the money that comes from the general fund now will not be coming into the general fund. It'll be in a separate fee fund.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess what I'm saying is there's going to be more fees described. And I worked the fees out based on the cost, what it costs us to do these different tasks. And then I compared to the counties around. So we'll be lower than Madison County, about the same as Howard, but higher than Huntington and Blackford. There's a lot of difference between Madison County and Huntington County.
Well, I'm sure you guys will discuss that and work that out. So.
Right. Just kind of let you know where we're at.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next on the agenda, we have the extension at RH.
Council, good evening.
Good evening.
Evening.
I've now done this 4 times this year, so I know each county is a little bit different. But I figure we'll address the $40,000 elephant in the room.
$42,000.
42, there you go, yeah. So Extension's going through a transformation. And in the past, the contractual services has essentially been all over the board from county to county. What they've done, and I've got a sheet I can share with all of you, is they are now basing it off of population. And then that's the difference in the contractual services for this year. I'll give you each one of these.
We've been paying like 1.5 positions, isn't that right, Mike? We've been budgeting 1.5 positions in the past, so that's a change as far as the basis goes.
It's gonna go, the state's been split up into about 12 regions throughout the state, and we've, as educators, whether it's 4-H, health and human sciences, ag, community development, we've already kind of done regional programming. Like we'll help somebody in a different county, or somebody in a different county will come and help us, or whatever the need may be. So there's going to be a local 4-H presence continually. So there's still going to be a Grant County 4-H fair, Howard County 4-H fair. Those aren't going regional. But then the other educator positions like health and human sciences, ag, and then, what was the other one? Community development. We're going to be kind of doing a regional programmatic approach.
Okay, well, I'm ready to hear your $140,000 proposal.
May I pass?
Sure.
And it is, I'll give you the page here. I didn't know what all you would need. The third page. The third page has the chart that campus has given us. And please know, I am the messenger from campus. I did not set this number. And I am also happy to take any feedback the council may have back to campus as well. Some counties are at, have increased even more for the requests that we're making this year. Some are a little less. Again, it just all is based off of population now, to try to make it more equitable across the state for each county.
Okay, question I'd ask is if we don't go to 140,000, what happens?
That is what I would take back to campus. I'll give you an example from Miami County. Miami County was increasing about, I think it's 67 or so. This year was the ask. And they said, well, can we do like a 3-year increment stepping up to that? I don't have the authority to say yes or no on that, but I just took it back to campus and I'm waiting to hear back from them now.
Okay, guys, like I said in the past, we were given like a schedule. This is what it would cost for 2 full-time people, 1.5 full-time people, and we've been doing 1.5, I think. We haven't been approached with this kind of a bump other than we'd like to do 2 full instead of 1.5, I think.
So,
and we haven't done it now in this case. That's a 43% increase.
Yep.
If we would go that full amount.
Yep.
So my first reaction is I don't want to go that high.
Sure.
That's interesting.
And I will let you know too that going forward, we'll have an Ag and Natural Resources educator calling Grant County their home office. Now with that said, they'll still be doing regional programming, whether it's here, Howard, wherever. An ag educator will have a contact for 4-H that's calling Grant County home, and a health and human sciences educator also calling Grant County their home office. So just to kind of give you an update on that front.
Is there a way to measure participation versus population? I mean, to me, we may have more participation than Marion County.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's not really a fair way to gauge that.
On some programs there is, we'll collect demographic information on a lot of programs. We'll count like how many participants are there, whether it's through registrations or just a demographic survey. Some of them, if it's, say like at a school, we can only collect so much information, if it's like a protected class. And then, even going with some virtual programming, sometimes it's hard to gauge. I mean, just being honest, sometimes it's hard to gauge if somebody's in Blatford, Howard, Grant, wherever they may be. And also just so you know, as far as where we are with our region, so there's Grant, Tipton, Howard, Miami, Clayton, Carroll, and Cass. So those 7 counties make up the region that we're in. And there's still nothing that says somebody from a different region can't cross regional lines to, assist with programming or whatever the need may be.
You may have answered this, but what does the contractual services actually pay for?
That is the service-based agreement that says a county is going to be receiving programming for community development, 4-H, health and human sciences, and then also ag and natural resources. So the ag and natural resources would be like your private applicator certification events, master gardeners, programming along those lines.
So that money goes back to Purdue, some of it then?
Yeah, the contractual services really goes towards, it's a portion of salaries. And to kind of give you a little bit of background, what we've been told from campus is that the way that extension was structured like the last 20 years just wasn't sustainable for the workforce and to keep the people they have. So that's why they're going to this new regional model.
You can see from the schedule, we pay 2 employees, actually as employees. Right. What contractual is, it's Purdue money that they use to pay the people that aren't on our payroll.
Right.
And for some of the programs that they're putting on.
I noticed in the little sheet you passed out, 140,000 is the amount shown for our 2027 amount. But it would be minus educator mileage at 5,900, looks like.
Yeah.
So 134.1 would be the net of that.
Because we're going to a regional approach, we're backing down the educator mileage. Some counties have a line item for computers. Those would go through Campus Now. Some counties have a line item for professional development. That would go through Campus Now. I don't think we've got one on there for that. But some of those are kind of moving back to Purdue.
Aaron, I was thinking along the same lines as you were. It would seem like any increase should be attached to, there's an increase in services, participation, something.
Yep.
I mean, coming up with a random tiered chart just seems like a way to get extra money.
Yeah, and what's going to happen is that as we proceed with this transformation, is that the regional educators, like the Purdue paid employees, will be doing assessments to kind of gather what does a county need. Like the last time I was here at the county council meeting, the update for the substance abuse issue, on the health and human sciences side of things, we have some programs that we could bring to the county that would help combat that. On the other side, if we find out that there's not a big need for, say, I don't know, I'm going to choose one, say Captain Cash, which is a youth-based financial resource program. I mean, all the schools love it, but just use that as an excuse. If we find that there's not a need for that, we would do more of what's being requested. And again, the best thing I can do is take any feedback you have and positive, negative, back to campus.
So as a farmer, I understand some of this because I have a private educator license as well, so I know that they cost to put on training. So a lot of this stuff is obviously geared towards farmers. I'm with these guys. I don't know how I came with that number, but I guess it doesn't matter to me. But I do see where some of this cost is at because I go to some of those classes. So.
Sure.
I guess if you're not involved in that, you wouldn't get it. And, rightfully so.
But I guess it's a 40% increase, which is quite substantial.
Yeah, and again, I don't understand that part of it, which none of us do apparently, so.
I mean, it sounds like there's other programs that Purdue offers that I wasn't at least aware of. To me, it would seem like let's sit down and figure out those programs and what would fit for Grant County first, and then figure out the dollar.
Yeah, and that's part of what I hope would happen is whether it's the educators doing an assessment of what's needed, and a lot of times that'll occur with community members, whether it's somebody like the Board of Health, on the health side, or farmers on the ag side, to figure out what's really needed in a county.
And we don't know what response we'll get if we give them something less than that, what the response is going to be. And they'll just forget it, Grant County, we're not coming, kind of thing. Maybe, I don't know.
You're exactly right.
I mean, my first inclination is to give them a 6% bump over last year, which is our growth factor piece, and see what happens. But I mean, I don't want us to end programs.
What's 6%? What's that number?
103.6 would be.
Okay, that's funny. I was just using a number of 5,000, so it's about there. I mean,
it's in that range, but
yeah. Ironic. I was thinking the same thing you were. Yeah. I mean, we're given,
That's a 6% growth, which we're getting decent on paper.
Exactly.
Not net, but we're getting growth. But
So as of right now, we don't know what Purdue's going to say. I do not. It's kind of odd. I mean, as a farmer, I don't want them to cut our services.
Sure.
But I also understand that we're dealing with real numbers here.
I don't want them to assume we're going to give them another $40,000 just because they're asking for it.
Yeah, I don't. It'd be nice if they give us a little clarification on that, I guess.
The advanced notification. I mean,
And I'll bet there's a lot of this that I don't understand because I'm not a farmer and I rely on you and Frank and Randy and, those who are farmers in this community to tell me if this
I
is.
just know it costs money to put on the programs that they put on. I don't know how much it costs.
Yeah, and he was saying that, it's not sustainable the way it's been staffed and funded, how the funding has affected staffing in the past, and we don't know if the state reduced what they're giving in state universities, Purdue in this case, to fund that. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, and for like the last 20 years or so, state and federal has been completely flat. Well, with the exception of the last couple of years when there was actually, I think, a 5% cut, I believe.
No, when I was sending my kids to college, they told me at the financial aid office, we don't negotiate.
No, well, we just dropped ours off yesterday.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know, to the board's point here, it's kind of like, well, maybe we throw something out, but if they don't negotiate, then we're left.
We have a choice to make. Either we're gonna pay them what they want, or we're just discontinue that part of the program, I guess.
And you're saying you're not the middleman to negotiate that.
Oh, I am definitely the middleman, but not the one that negotiates.
It's not gonna be a decision to make.
Exactly.
Well, that's the way you negotiate. You don't have the full power out in front, right?
I guess the question is, do we want to not approve category 3 right now, or do we want to approve category 3 with that 6% increase as Jim has suggested, which would be 103,607?
I'd just make it even 103.6, just to, or 103.7 maybe, just to make it round numbers, what I would do.
All right.
Kind of thing.
are you getting similar feedback from the other counties?
Honestly, a lot of, it's all across the board as far as whether a county's going up, how much they're going up. Miami County is about 75, 76 grand, I believe was their increase. And then, like I said, they proposed, can we do, I forget what it was, like the exact number, like 25 or 26 a year for 3 years to kind of step up to that. And then, so that's what I took back to campus, and I haven't, that was just maybe a week ago. I forget when I did
You
that.
didn't get an immediate reaction.
No immediate reaction. No.
Any other responses on the tiered population chart from other counties?
Not necessarily. I mean, I'll say with my concern with some of them, so I, cover Tipton County. Tipton County the last couple of years has been 15,000, like just over. And my concern was, if you go online or wherever, like the census or wherever to find those numbers, we were applying for a grant years ago in Tipton County. One place said 15,000 something, and the other was like 14,900. And so it was right on the edge, and we needed the 15,000 for the purpose of that grant. So, haven't heard too much feedback. And again, I've got only 4 counties that I'm kind of going with right now. So
how does that work? You're in District 4. Yep. But there's 7 counties there, but technically you're saying you're only over 4.
yes, there is another. So my town is regional operations leader. There's one more of me, essentially, who has Carroll, Clinton, and Cass counties. Yep. So there's 2 of us in Region 4.
Okay. So just kind of leading with what you said, and I'm not what the council will do, but you divide it 42 by 3, you're looking at about 14,000 increase per year.
You did it per year.
Yeah, you did it per year.
Which I'm not willing to concede that yet.
I
I mean,
understand.
obviously we could. I mean, it's what this body wants to do.
I'm just throwing it out there as
Something that's an example of someone else is doing.
Correct.
Well, that number could change in 3 years too, for Purdue.
Well, I mean, if you're basing it on that population, ours is going the wrong way, and we'd still fall in the same category.
Yeah, we're gonna be that way along. We're not gonna get below the next one. Category E is a lot less than what we get. At least we hope not.
That's the other thing too, your overhead's probably fixed regardless if your population is 60,000 or 15,000. You're still kind of giving some basic services to everyone, so I feel like the higher population counties are paying for the lower population counties. Am I looking at that right?
Potentially, because, I mean, I'll give you this example. So Tipton County, just over 15,000, but it's 98% farmland. So they may have a bigger need for the ag services than, say, Howard County. And that's just where where the assessments have to come into play to figure out what a county was really needing. There's like a Master Gardeners program on the ag side. A lot of the rural counties have a pretty good Master Gardener program, but then if you go down to around the Indy area, they might have a little bit for urban ag, but other than that, it's just not needed as much. I didn't mean to take up all the time.
And I didn't realize there was a change in the basis. I knew the number was big, but usually it's just because more full-time staff.
Yeah,
We're talking about. I didn't realize this was the change.
And I think I may have tried to email the last two documents. I believe I did, but don't quote me on that. I might be wrong.
If we did Jim's suggestion, category 3 would deduct 140 and add 103,700, which I believe puts category 3 at a total of 114,425.
Correct. That's what I had.
Okay. So I don't know if we want to do that or hold off on category 3 right now.
Yeah, and I am assuming even if we hold off, we wouldn't have the answer from Purdue by the time we address this question, I'm guessing.
Give me a date that I can give.
We're going to adopt our budget third Wednesday in October.
Third Wednesday in October.
But we really need to make decisions by the first before Wednesday in October is final decision time for getting things ready for that adoption.
I'm just going to write down.
We can always pull that line item out and save it for action later if we chose.
Good. We're gonna have to it later if you want to, right?
Yeah, we can just, right at this point, approve category 3 with that line excluded. And then when it comes to our final decision and budget adoption time, we can include whatever number we feel like we want to put in at that point.
All right.
And
that gives him a chance to get some feedback.
And the reason I asked for a date is so I can tell them a couple dates before that.
Right. Yeah.
A couple weeks before.
Whatever that first Wednesday in October is kind of like deadline date.
So I'll shoot for September then.
Do you have any materials that discusses all the programs that is offered by?
Yes and no, because, and I say that just because there's, I was surprised when I started with Extension, just all we did. So my background's health and human sciences, so I'll use that as an example. So within health and human sciences, we've got financial resource management, health and nutrition. See, I'm gonna, you've got family health and then mental health all in there. So within each one of these programmatic areas, there's programs embedded in there. So the ag side, of course, Prob for pesticide applicators to be certified, master gardeners. A lot of times there'll be a partnership with Farm Bureau, where it might be like an ag day where inner city kids, in fact, the office did one. I don't think it was a partnership with Farm Bureau, but anyways, inner city kids will be able to come out, and it might be the first time they see a tractor, a horse, a cow, pig, whatever. Community development, they've got programs for developing boards for employers to kind of see where they need to improve. It's called Becoming the Employer of Choice. And then, of course, 4-H. It's not just fair, it's really 4-H and youth development. So programs that develop youth, because a lot of times if you talk to an employer, they'll look at if they see 4-H, FFA, or band on a resume, they'll kind of give those a little bit of a bump. But yeah, I can get you, and also, of course, on the website, there's all sorts of, and I'll say this, they've only got a small handful of programs on the website. Programs that help with diabetes, mental health, urban ag, drones, AI. It's all across the board.
Right, I think, I might have this then, if the chair would entertain a motion with this, category 2 supplies, 5,700. Category 3 would be 10,725 excluding contractual services, which is account 30700, and then category 4 for $500. I think that's what
I'd move for approval of that at this point.
all right, thank you, Mr. McCord.
Second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Scott. Any other questions or comments? And we'll be looking to hear back from you then. And
Yep.
Yep, that'd be great. All right, no other questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. I'll have to remember that.
I'll have it written on my notes too. So.
Yeah. I'm trying to put this as a flag in there. What I remember. All right. Next on our agenda is Sheriff. Got a little behind there.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the council. I think the only 3 increases that we had for this budget was 2 days now we're going to take off my glasses, so. Canine supplies, medical, and polygraph testing. I'll take any questions you may have.
Okay, and then also maintenance agreements, that was up to, maintenance agreements was double. 20,000 to 40,000.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Canine supplies, have you added how many dogs do we have?
We have 6 dogs right now. Cost of food has gone up. Just about everything's gone up. I'm anticipating we'll probably return some of it back at the end of the year, but we just want to have it just in case it's needed. I mean, you just never know right now how high those prices are going to go. So we just want to try to give you a true budget for that line item. Also, the medical went up 4%. Our population, and that's something that we're really going to have to look at as a county. We actually have the least expensive medical provider that we've interviewed others, and they were all closer to $1 million or $800,000 to $1 million. So quality, QCC's brought in the lowest rate. But we also look at the incidentals that we have and individuals that have to go to the hospital, and then we have to pay for some medication. We had an individual that we just got medically OR that we had to pay $6,000 for just 1 shot. So we try to get them out as quickly as we can. I can tell you that QCC does a real good job at scrubbing our bills. Total medical bills that we received so far this year is $218,190. Total invoice to the county was $48,727.52. So they do a good job at scrubbing those bills. And in case you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, we'll get a bill, let's say for $6,000 from the hospital. They go through it and they negotiate with the provider, and they're able to get it down to a reasonable amount. So they do a good job at that. Our main issue is we have a very sickly population, and so that's why that's gone up. The polygraph testing has gone up. That they charge us $300 per polygraph. Anybody that gets hired gets a polygraph test. If we're looking at doing something in the future with more detention staff, obviously that we'd have to polygraph them before we can get them hired.
Were we paying for that somewhere else? That's the first time that account showed up there. It's been everything paid someplace else prior to this.
Yes, that's been paid. We used to use the state police to do it, and we paid them.
Where did we pay them from? It didn't show up in our line item.
Do you remember what budget that was paid out of?
Commissary.
Commissary paid out of it.
Okay, it's been paid by commissary.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what we've done with that is we switched over to a local guy to do it here in Marion. We can get them done a lot quicker. Now, they only charge us for employment polygraphs, they don't charge us for criminal polygraphs. So we have a crime that took place, say homicide, and we're gonna give someone a polygraph for that, they do those for free. They only do our employment.
So why would we not continue paying up commissary?
Our commissary budget's actually gone down with the FCC ruling. We've lost about $12,000 to $13,000 per month in our commissary budget. FCC ruled that the companies that do our phones and tablets can only charge a certain percent. So we've actually lost quite a bit of funding for that.
I'm going to go back to medical just a little bit. The increase from the 26 budget to the 27 budget is about 25%, actually, a 25% increase. Now, I will say this, it looks like based on what was actually spent in 25 on here, what you're asking for is in the ballpark. So, I mean, that's a huge increase from what we budgeted prior.
And I know some of you guys like truer budgets, I'm like, for me to come back.
You want to be realistic.
Yeah, I don't mind coming back if need be. But I can tell you, at the next council meeting, we're gonna come with a request to transfer money into that medical budget to make sure we have enough. It'll be a transfer, not an appropriation.
Not an additional, it'll be a transfer.
Right, not an additional appropriation, we'll be transferring it, so.
Well, I mean, one of our goals is to adopt a realistic budget. So, I mean, obviously, it don't have to be artificially low.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense either, but it is a 25% jump on the budget.
And that could change from year to year depending on how many people have to go to the hospital.
Yeah, sure.
How many people that we have that are critically ill that require medication that's very costly. Now, when we do get those, we do try to get with the courts to try to get them either on home detention. We've been successful in doing that with people with cancer, with people with some major issues with addiction. Like we had one individual that was had addictions with alcohol. And hers was so bad we ended up having to, we were able to get her on home detention because we were spending a lot of money on medication for her. And once we do that and get them on home detention, then obviously they're responsible to pay. Now, one thing that QCC has been able to do with some of our medical issues is it is kind of hit and miss with them. Sometimes they're able to get Medicaid to pay for it, sometimes they're not. Medicaid or Medicare, I always get the two mixed up. But sometimes they're able to get them. We had a guy that had to have a surgery. They were able to get them to pay for that, but it doesn't always work. And if they're in our custody, and I can tell you, it's only going to get worse for us, or could get worse for us. We had an individual that we were trying to put on the new program that didn't want to go on it because he wanted his teeth fixed. So he was refusing to go on the new home detention program because he wanted dental work done on his teeth. Then we've also had, in fact, we've had two people like that so far. So what I think's happening is
that a choice they can make? I mean,
no, we ended up putting them on that program anyhow. But we are seeing more of that where someone knows that the county is responsible for their medical bills. And, these are, some of them are people that don't go to the doctor regularly, but they come in here, and they get taken care of pretty good. And we're mandated by the state to do that. So we're trying to.
When I think of dental, there are some things that are elected and some things are required. So, I mean, just because he has some dental thoughts, I mean, he actually gets those.
So we're really trying to get with our state representative and maybe look at that at the legislative side. Because I'm telling you, medical is an issue, big issue.
How much of this total is, I'll say, a fixed cost? In other words, we have a contract with this, what's the company?
QCC.
QCC, is part of that a contractual amount and the rest of it is?
Yes, $453,338.42.
Sorry, how much is it again?
$453,338.42.
That's their contract, so that amount is set. The rest of it's what we have to pay in addition to that. Okay.
It's all we have to call an ambulance to come look at someone, or pay $6,000 for a shot.
But that 453, 338 is, you're saying it's in medical and hospital, it's not in contractual services?
Now that 453 goes to QCC. They do our nursing staff, they do the all.
But what line item is it in? Is it a contractual services line or the medical and hospital line?
No, it's in the medical.
That's what I said.
In the medical.
Okay, so the majority of it is actually that contract?
Okay. Majority of it.
Yeah.
What else in that contractual services line? $760,000. Food,
Yes, that's our.
I didn't see food anyplace, that's the
Yeah.
food vendor?
That's our food, the 760 is our food vendor, and we're actually saving quite a bit of money this year from them because we did switch vendors, try to find a vendor that was less expensive, and that's actually, we're gonna take some of that money from that account to put into medical this year. And we're hoping we get at least one more year from our food services to where we can get them low, but you know how that goes. They start you out at a good rate, kind of like, Verizon or DirecTV, start out at a good rate, but by the time you're done, you're right back up there. So we're always talking to vendors, and we're always gonna go where we can get the best bang for our buck. So if that gets too high for us, we don't have any problems with changing.
Talk to us about your maintenance agreement going from 20,000 to 40,000.
Well, a lot of that has to do with our maintenance agreements for computer things, electronics. I don't have the specific ones, I can get those to you, but those prices have gone up. Some of them, like I'll give you an example, our iRecord system, which we used to record, we're mandated by the federal government to record any felony interview. That's what that's going for.
It's nothing new, it's not a new program, it's just sustaining what we already have.
It's sustaining what we have. And I tell you, iRecord, it's great to have them, because there's times people will leave the recorder on and it goes recording for 12 hours was this last one. So, and when it does that, we have to use them to go back to get other interviews. So, and we're not the only ones that use them. Other agencies will come in here to interview people in jail. Sometimes they have a habit of leaving them on. So they're definitely important for us to have those types of maintenance agreements. Same with our Motorola, our in-car radios, and things of that nature.
Another question I guess I have, it's on the line item for out-of-county inmate housing. I see we're using 1.1 million in the request, same as we had 26s. Since we have that pretrial detention program, we're expecting that to hopefully be less.
Yeah, we're hoping that we don't use it all.
Could we lower this one or not?
Well, I would, until it gets going, I think it's probably best to leave it as is, and if we don't use it, it just comes back. I think right now we have maybe 19 was the last number I had.
Yeah, we have, I think 20 with 300 in next week.
Okay. And then I think we had one that's already been violated from it. So one that's already coming back to us because they violated we can lower it if you like, and I can just come back for more money.
We want it to be whatever reasonable is.
I just would like to see that program get started and be up and running for a little bit before we do that.
How many are you, on the average, having out of county now?
Right now, we're having about 55 to 58, because we're trying to stay within our budget that we currently have. And our numbers have been in the 340s, 320s these last few months. So we can keep it at that. And you have to remember, our population here fluctuates because when we bring them back, then we have to count them as ours, and we're always bringing people back, and we're not replacing them because they're coming here, they're going to court, and then they're going to go back to wherever they came from. So it's not like we have an open bid in one of the other counties and we're sending someone to replace them. We normally wait till the court time is up and just send them back. But right now, I believe today, I think we have 58.
Our cost per day out of county is how much right now?
$40 a day.
That's what I was thinking, okay. 55 times 40 times 365 is 803,000. Okay. So there's some play there. Okay.
Sorry to bounce you around, Sheriff. Back to contractual services. Is that all food service?
Yes.
In that, so right now you're on pace to be at 529, 125 by end of year. But are some of those bills paid quarterly? Is that amount through May 31st an actual amount, or?
Yeah, those are paid monthly.
Weekly. It's about 10,000.
So that
and we pay per plate, so the more inmates you have, the less you pay per plate. So what happens with that is we were negotiating with other companies during budget time, and so we budgeted, I think, a similar amount, or maybe a little bit more for this year. But this company, Victus, actually came in a lot lower than the other 3 companies that we interviewed or talked to. So we went with them. And when you're talking about these companies, is we contract with them for 3 years. You have a clause where you could get out of it, but you have to give them, some of them are 30 days, some of them are 90 days.
But it looks like you're significantly lower than what you expended in '25.
Right, and that's because there was a change in companies.
Okay. But then we're higher on the requested budget, so is there an opportunity for some savings there? Since we're only on pace to be at 529, I know that.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I mean, there could be, we just gotta see where we're gonna be with our inmate population. Cause the lower the lower amount of our numbers you're feeding, the higher that plate cost goes.
Gotcha.
So we just decided to leave it the same for this year to see, where we're.
Are there thresholds on that? They, like every 50 inmates, they adjust the price, or is it plate by plate?
No, it's certain amount, so many inmates, then you get a reduction, so. But there is a big possibility that we could save money again there this year, but like I said earlier, that was our first year deal, so I'm anticipating prices are gonna start going up a little bit at a time.
Understand.
And we just did give them our commissary business, so kind of holding them to keep those prices down, so.
Do you anticipate the daily rate for out of county to go up at all? You had any conversation, or you really thinking about that?
No, normally the sheriffs won't raise that because they're just doing a favor to another sheriff, because you never know when they're gonna need a favor from us. So that's pretty much the standard price. I know we're looking at switching over more of our inmates to Wabash instead of Tipton, just because everything is, our other location is up North Street, and we think it'll make our rounds a lot easier for our transport guys.
I'm gonna suggest a change on the out of county, just, I'm gonna be a little optimistic, I hope. If we make it 1 million, it's only $100,000, I guess, in the total, but if you make it $1 million even, that's enough to accommodate 68 prisoners per day at $40 a day. And what we're doing now, hopefully that's high enough.
And we're hoping that program gets going and gets stable, and, I mean, I think that's reasonable to
So we make that $1 million, that saves $100,000 off that. And as Aaron was saying, possibly, I'm not really necessarily as strong in thinking about reducing that contractual service amount. We could maybe shave a few bucks off that, not a whole lot.
The other thing too is with the medical and hospital, if you take what's expended so far, that's actually at 643. So that's a pretty real number. We need to keep that, or even.
I probably need to keep that at least, because you can see we spent 627 last year, so it's, the 630 is probably a fair number. Probably not gonna be less than that.
I agree.
The food, I probably wouldn't go below the 725 range if we changed it, but just to leave us some room in there just in case.
Like I said before, hopefully this home detention program will get some of our more sicklier inmates too, so that hopefully could save us some money on the medical side.
Let's see, so let me make a new total for that. If we, this is 26. If we shaved the food contractual services down to 725, from 760 down to 725, and the out-of-county inmate from 1,000,001 down to 1 million even, you would make that category 2,538,850. So that saves 135,000 off of that. That's leaving the other items as they are.
And you may have noticed also that we zeroed out the D-home contractual services. That's actually going to be moved, I believe, to either probation or Judge Meeks' budget.
We'll get to that section a little different.
How's the capital outlays for equipment and bulletproof vests work? You buy those for the?
Yes, we're mandated to provide them to the.
So they leave us, do they take them with them?
No. No, and we reuse them when we can, but those are made specifically for their body type, so if we can find an office, like, we just had one of their guys that went, or that left, I don't know, we're gonna be able to find someone to put his on, because he was very, very small.
Well, the other thing I could say is maybe a change I would consider is that canine supplies. Do we need to double that to 20,000 from 10 to 20? That's not like a bunch. I'm not saying you won't necessarily use it, but it just seems like that's a reach at this point, just thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm good with whatever you guys decide on that. You know, if we have to come back from what we will, or we'll get it from another part of our budget.
If we shave it down to the 15 number, that's 5,000 we cut off there. I still want to be realistic, obviously. I don't want to be.
No, I think that definitely is realistic with that.
Any more things you want to talk? I'm ready for a motion unless there's more things we want to talk about.
Ready for a motion?
Okay, I'll move that we approve the sheriff's budget and general fund under supplies. It would be $494,500, which is reducing canine supplies down to $15,000. I would approve other services and charges at a total of $2,538,850, and that's reducing contractual services down to $725,000 and reducing out of county inmate housing down to $1 million. And then also I would approve category 4, $35,000 as requested.
Did you say anything about maintenance agreement?
I left it at the 20, I left it at 40,000. I didn't change it. Yeah, we didn't do anything new. I don't like the increase, but there's nothing new in there, it sounded like, so. I'm willing to leave, let that would stand based on the maintaining what we have basis.
Thank you, Mr. McWhort. Do we have a second to that motion?
Second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cardell. Any more questions or comments for the sheriff? Not all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next, we do have the detention center.
You know, I didn't say this, but we'll talk about this later when we actually approve the budget later, but I want to mention, under the personnel area, merit pension is in there. You'll see the number is $1,039,661, which is a bump up of 8.7%. But that is the number we normally would approve. The blue sheet in your packet shows the different levels of covering that pension cost. And that is the recommended line number, which we normally do approve. So just the thought for future when we approve all that category. That number that we normally approve, it's increased obviously from last year. Okay, just wanted to mention that.
Next, we have a general fund detention center.
Do you request any addition to that budget?
Which the only thing I had gotten, I guess I'm getting mixed messages, because on the one hand, when I sat down at a negotiating table, this was referenced as being in our budget, and this is a zero request though, that you've got for 2027.
Right, it was a zero at 2026.
It was adopted as 1.9 million.
Yeah, that was added to our budget one year that we didn't request.
But it's been there.
But it was for, and it's still in I think, a general fund somewhere, if I remember correctly. But when that 1.1 was put in our budget, we did not request it at that time. And it was, from what I understand, it was requested for Possible staffing of a D-home, doing that over there. And then in 2026, it was zeroed out. And we didn't request anything for it this year. But it had been in there previously in 2026.
And 2025.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think I told you in the email that in 23 and 24, there was nothing except for the contractual. And then in 25 and 26, we added all that back in. And then I was told this year to zero it back out.
That was per the sheriff then.
No, I went by his budget, but it was by the commissioner.
And just so everybody knows, it would be difficult to add that back in now at this stage because of advertising limits and those kind of things. But if something happens that you end up, we do some decision between the sheriff and the commissioners and us, we want to do something with staffing in that area, it can be added as an additional appropriation within that year, as long as we have unappropriated cash to be able to do that. Just procedurally, just so you know that that's something that still can be done. It just wouldn't happen during this budget process. It'd be after 1/1.
Okay, so I'm confused, because I thought you started off and said that you had requested this to be zeroed out, and then Angie just said that the commissioners.
Well, that was for 2026, because what happened is, I don't know who put it in our budget, but it was put in our budget. We noticed it, and I said, well, we're not using that money for anything, so it was zeroed out, so.
Well, on our sheet, it says the 2026 adopted budget total is $1,974,316. So we appropriated, and we approved a budget for this year for the detention center.
That's correct. It was supplied to me by the commissioner, Shane, to add it back in. And then this year it was zeroed back out by.
So during budget hearings last year, when we were preparing for 2026, we voted on it to be zero?
No.
And then it was that?
No.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. We approved it.
Yes, you approved it.
With Shane put it in the
Yeah,
budget.
what I'm saying, we've never put it in the
Not the
budget.
sheriff.
Yeah, we've never requested that money in the budget. That was requested by the commissioner's office, not by us.
So we approved it with what the commissioners had put into it, is what we did last year at this time. And this year, neither the sheriff or the commissioners put it in there, so it's not for us to approve it right now, because it's not there.
Isn't that unusual that a commissioner would make
Well,
a
the first
decision
year
on
it
a
was
budget?
council, then it was the commissioner, I guess. Depends on the year, so
I mean, this budget falls under the sheriff, not the commissioner's
that's
office.
correct.
Well, it was put on there without me asking for it when it was.
Well, unfortunately, yeah. So, but it's all a domino, right? Superior Court too, and then it falls down on you for the jail and detention, and, I mean, it's been that way for years, that sheriff has had to oversee detention center on behalf of Superior
So I was
Court, too.
surprised when I seen it in my budget, so.
I guess I'm just going back trying to understand why a commissioner made the decision to zero it out.
Well, I think it's probably because of the jail project, the anticipation of the cost of the jail projects, or whatever they were gonna do at the detention center, whatever may happen, they wanted that in our budget as a safety net.
I remember when we put it back in, it was a discussion,
Yes.
just like Sheriff just said, is if the detention center ever opened back up, we had the salaries in place to be able to implement that. So it's changed from that original intention now to we're not having a jail project, so I'm going to just go ahead and voluntarily pull out that budget.
But keep in mind, we don't, as a council, don't normally initiate that. That comes to us from another department. In this case, it's been commissioner or sheriff. Whether or not they're agreed or not, but, I mean, it came to us in whatever manner.
It should be sheriff.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna disagree, but I'm just saying that it got to us from someone, and we left at that point. And this time it's come to us at zero.
It's not good. All right.
Again, like I said, there's a method of getting that back,
There is.
whatever you want to at some point. Just keep in mind, when you look at your operating balance, make sure you keep enough to do that if you choose to at some point. Okay? So, I mean, it's not like it's, gone if you want in the future. It's,
Right.
as long as you have the operating balance to handle it, you can still do it.
Yes, sir.
So I'll make a motion that we approve category 2 and category 3 for the $200,950 as presented.
No, you don't want to do that. That's an expenditure line. There's nothing requested. The far right-hand column.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
So I'll change that. The motion will be for 0 for categories 2 and 3.
Yeah, it may just be for 0 for the entire budget.
Yeah, right now it's 0. You really don't need to do anything if you don't want. I mean, we can do it at zeros, but there's nothing to adopt at this point, unless you just want to say, I want to have it at 0.
Well, if there's no need to, then we just move on, right?
As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing to approve at this point.
All right.
I mean, I think we probably could if you wanted to say, actually, hey, I'll approve this at 0, but it's already there at 0, so there's nothing to really.
All right.
Well,
Let me say, you can, it's.
Yeah, you can.
the motion's out there, so let's have it.
All right.
Second.
All right. Second by Mr. Tuttle. All right.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments regarding this? I guess, if not, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? All right, motion carries for that budget approved at 0. Next, we have the Workcrew. Sheriff Workcrew Fund.
Yeah, I think the majority of that's probably part of the negotiation, the ongoing negotiations for salaries.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all personnel.
Yeah, so.
Yep.
That's it, Sheriff. We didn't ask him if he wanted to talk about his personnel requests. So, you want to tell us about your personnel request at this point or not?
For our pay increase, well, definitely, I mean, we're trying, we know we can't keep up with the Joneses, but we definitely want to try to make the gap between our agency and other agencies smaller. Knowing that we're never maybe going to be able to reach that level that some of these other agencies have, but hopefully you guys will look at that and shrink that gap a little bit to make it a little bit easier for us to retain a lot of good deputies. We just lost 2, both of them were for pay, and hopefully they'll be the only 2. We're controlling what we can control: culture, equipment, training, trying to make a great culture for people to work at, getting them the best equipment we can afford. Obviously, we don't have Hamilton County money, but we do the best we can with that. So any help you guys can give us with shrinking that gap, we definitely would be appreciated.
Have you been able to replace vacancies pretty well? I mean,
yeah, for the road we do with the jail, it's hard for us to stay at 100%. We're normally right around 95, 96% staffing. And that would really help out. Obviously, if we could get that pay up, help maybe draw people more to the jail side. The road is normally not that difficult because we have jailers that eventually want to become deputies. So it's kind of like we have our own farm team out there. So anything you guys can do, we would definitely appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. We do have a break noted in here, which we're past that time. I don't know if anybody needs to take a break, or otherwise we'll just keep rolling forward. All right. Anybody else need a break? All right. I guess we'll keep rolling then, hearing silence. Move to probation.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Several budgets, so
Yes, you do. You got a couple.
I'll let you decide which one you want to start with.
What we've got is the general fund probation, which doesn't have a ton in it. Now this one though, you do have 600,000 coming to it, and I think that is for is that for the out-of-county housing of juveniles?
Yeah, so the sheriff reduced his budget by that amount, and we increased our budget by that amount. We just used the figures from previous years. Our hope is that it's not that much, but you just never know. And so this year we've been able to move to a contract for 5 beds, which will be helpful. but we don't always stay within those 5 beds. Last week we were above those, and we just don't have any control over some of those incidences. So we just kept it the same as years past.
What is the daily cost for juvenile?
It depends. Each detention center charges what they want. Some of them are up to $300 a day.
Private or public?
Well, they would be run by counties.
They average 250 probably, on an average maybe.
Or it could be private, right? If it's YOC or something like that, it'd be private.
Yeah, so it could be, but most of them are, like there's ACJC that we use up in Allen County. There's,
Is Kinsey still, is Howard County, what's Howard County's now?
Kinsey.
It's still Kinsey?
Yeah.
Are they private?
I don't know. I don't know if they're private or not. Sometimes they're a little more challenging to get into because of capacity issues. We've got some that are significant in terms of expense. Some of them do more programming, and so they kind of choose what they want to bill people, and they know that they've kind of got the corner because most places don't have a detention center anymore.
How many do we have in detention right now?
Great question. I would say last week when we looked, it was about it was around 9.
Do you feel like that's an average number?
So we tried to figure out the average, because it, kind of comes in waves. And so we tried to figure out the average, close to a little over 5 for the year, but you have some where you're going to be at 12 and some that you're going to be at 4. But we have some that are already waived, so we don't have a choice. And then as soon as those are able to move out of the system, we move them. And then also we have some that need placement for other issues. And when we work to get those placements, we move them as well. So I know those were 2 big issues in the past couple of weeks that we were working on. So that's why they're outside the norm.
Just looking at what we've been spending the last 2-3 years, it's probably a reasonable amount to have the 600,000. If this 200,980 that was spent through May 31st, that represents a true monthly scenario. 482,000 to be the yearly equivalent to that. So the 600,000 based on what we've been doing is probably reasonable to have in there, I guess.
So we've been kind of talking a little bit with the sheriff about his current budget, because through the rest of this year's under his budget, and we were trying to calculate, we're going to be pretty close to 600,000 this year.
It's in the range from. The May 31st total shows a little bit less.
520.
520. Okay. So it's going to get in the range anyways. Yeah.
And then in this one as well, and the salaries, I know we probably aren't discussing salaries. We just requested $3,000 raises for all of our non-mandated staff. The probation officer salary schedule did not get an increase this year for a second year.
That's what I thought. It looked like that was the case, just their bump ups they got. But
Years of
not,
service,
yeah.
yes. So.
Is that the first time it's been 2 years like that running without a raise or not?
I can't remember if there's been 2 consecutive years, but there have been years in the past.
Yeah. Interesting, there was 0 this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I thought I would bring up that sometimes the question around your analysis comes up on this one. So we've had the agreement that we will spend our grant dollars and our user fees first, and we have been honoring that to preserve that money. I do think it's extremely likely that we will be using these funds this year because we've had an influx of probationers. So it's likely that we will be using some of these funds. I know we've done really well to avoid using those general fund dollars. I just want to make sure you guys are aware that this year it's likely we're going to be using some of those funds just because of expenses go up and when your population numbers go up, and so will your drug screen numbers.
Speaking of those, do you have those numbers for adult and juvenile supervisions? Like how many adults are being supervised on probation right now and how many juveniles?
I didn't run the juveniles, I ran the adults today. It was 2,831.
Wow,
Sounds like a lot of people live.
it is a lot of people. And juveniles, you might.
I didn't run those numbers, but I can get them to you.
Okay.
You said 28 something, is that trending up, flat, trending down? How's that trending, do you know?
So I know in 2025, we looked at things that they trended, they're going up. And so, for instance, one of the things that we noticed in 2025 is that we had a 40% increase in what's called PSI, pre-sentence investigation reports alone. And they have to be, it's a requirement, they have to be done on any level 5 or higher. And so we know that those, if we've had a 40% increase in those, we're trending up.
Right, okay, thank you. You ready for motion on general fund?
Absolutely.
I'll move approval of the supplies and other services and charges categories as requested.
Thank you, Mr. McClure. Second. All right, thank you, Mr. Lemon. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have the juvenile probation fund.
There are no changes from last year in this one.
And this is a fee-driven fund.
It is, yes.
Chair would entertain a motion regarding other services and charges for approval for $11,000.
So moved.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brinkle.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Lemon. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have opioid restricted fund.
So when we start looking at the salaries, this includes the salary and benefits for a drug court probation officer who will be in the 2-year range next year, and our treatment coordinator that has been previously approved for this funds. It also includes, because the treatment coordinator is not a mandated staff, it also includes a $3,000 raise in that as well. New this year, I didn't know if you had a question.
I did have one.
New this year, you're gonna see an increase in the salaries and then the benefits as well. I was asked by former Commissioner Middlesworth to include an extra $100,000 in this budget to pay for the previously discussed jail treatment coordinator. So if that position does end up getting approved, it will already be allocated for 2027 budget. And it will appear on the sheriff's payroll. So
Oh, I see down here, okay.
and I'm assuming if it moves forward, when the city does their 50% reimbursement, it will go back into the restricted funds. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that. Okay. I need to talk.
So that's a question
I don't
you
know if
talk
I
about
can-
personnel.
Yeah, I don't know if I can come on. Yeah, I wasn't, because it's coming out of there, because I think we have to front it, and then they reimburse.
Okay, just so I can make notes in this, let me make sure I got this right. So this is a position we have not approved yet. We've had some the sheriff's presented it to us.
When the budgets were due, it was the first time it was on the agenda, so we went ahead and allocated so it wouldn't be a change in the budget.
Okay.
And so
So that's in this restricted funds budget.
if this body chooses
Right.
to approve that
Right,
position
understand.
or allocate for that position, it will be in the 27 budget already.
Right.
If you
Okay.
don't,
It's there at this point in 27, it's in the request. Now, what were you talking about, that as far as reimbursement, or?
So this was from my understanding, it has a 50% reimbursement from the
City
city.
of Marion, okay.
Yeah, so they're
And
gonna
they've
use,
already approved their end, I think, or I think I saw that someplace in the paper or whatever, but, okay.
yeah. So if they do, then they put in $50,000 as a reimbursement, but we pay
We pay it up front.
Pay it up front.
And if
That's
we-
my
The
understanding.
money would come back into the fund we're paying out of, I'm assuming, and out of this fund. I would assume.
As long as I can do it that way. Since
Okay.
it's the opioid fund, they have restrictions on how
Right.
you commingle and,
Yeah, you have to find out for sure.
Right.
Be done there. Okay, all right. So at this point, that's not there, but it's here in the budget in case we do that.
If you do, and if not, then,
Okay.
I think this would just allow us to be proactive if you choose to do that. And then if not, you could make those decisions to reduce that.
Okay. So we'll deal with that during personnel time.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
And then next, we have the adult probation fund.
Let me ask you one question before we go to the adult. I noticed on the drug court PO, probation officer on that line, the actual 27 requested salary is less than 26. Is that correct?
I think it was because the staff changed.
We had a staff.
You had a staff
Years of
change? Okay,
service.
all right. So that's, the new person's less, okay, all right,
Yes.
all right. That makes
So
sense.
they reset at 0 years, so.
I didn't know if there was a
Save money.
change there, so, okay. Thank you, takes care of that.
So adult probation.
In the adult probation, this is a fee fund. So this, we pay for one probation officer's salary in here. We also pay for the IDAX coordinator stipend. We also include the in-house groups coordinator stipend and the office manager longevity that was awarded way back in 2013. And so those also fall here. These aren't in the general fund.
Yeah, those persons are paid out of general and this, make their.
Well, except for the adult probation officer.
Right, I mean, some of them are.
Yes, the IDAX coordinator is paid out of the general fund for their salary. We looked at, we felt like it was important to honor the extra work that's taking on. So we previously had that approved through the council to use our user fees to do that, just to try to compensate people for extra work.
Yeah. Angie's got a little chart for us to show where that breakdown comes, yeah. I think, Angie, on the chart, Michelle Brown's position, we show that under the extra 1,000 out of Fund 9147. Probably should be out of Fund 2,000 instead. If you look back on that, the probation general fund schedule, I think that's in the other column. No big deal, we just want to make sure we agree with that. That page. Okay.
Next, we have the alcohol and drug fund.
So there's a total increase of $7,000, one in travel for $3,000, one in training for $4,000. We raised those categories because we had a decrease in grant funding. And so, in training and travel. So the state pretty much cut all of our training and travel in half. So we're using user fees to make up that difference. We are required to have continuing education hours every year. So training is not really an option for us. So we were, instead of requesting that to come from the general fund, we looked at just increasing what we have.
I'd move for approval of categories 2 and 3 as requested.
But not 4.
Is there a 4 on this one?
Yep. Alcohol and drug fund, yep, equipment.
Oh, I was looking at the drug court fund page. We're actually on alcohol and drug?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. I would move approval of all 3 of those then. Supplies, other services and charges, and capital outlay.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. McCourt. Do we have a second? Second. All right, thank you, Mr. Fleming. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we're on the Veterans Treatment Court Fund. I believe that might be your last one. Drug court. Oh, there it is. Yep.
I had the drug court ahead of the others. So.
Yep. All right.
This one shows a $1,000 increase in training as well due to the decreased grant funding.
The training CE, is that mandatory?
We have, as a probation officer, you have to keep a certain number of training hours, continuing education hours every year.
So what's the hour?
So the minimum is 12. And so generally they have some conferences within the state and then some outside of the state. So for our problem-solving courts, we generally travel to the national conference to learn about kind of best practice standards across the country. But some of them we can do within the state at the Justice Services Conference. So it really just depends on what's on their agenda, whether it matches what we need or not. We generally encourage them to have more than 12 hours.
So even though the grant cut the training, you are increasing the training over 2026. But you're still utilizing user fee dollars, but still what you're asking for is more than 2026. So you're just going after more training?
So the training got cut in half by the grant funds. And so we use those before we use user fee.
And that's in a different, that fund's in a different, the money's in a different fund, you're saying, the grant?
Yes.
The grant's in a different fund than
Yes.
this.
Right, but there's increases. What she's asking, the request of 2027 request is higher than 2026.
Because what she adds in the grant fund is less than what it used to be, so she put an extra increase over here to make up for what she lost there.
The grant fund was cut by 2,500, so we added 1,000 back in.
And that's a separate fund that we don't have here. So your net is less than what it was, but you're increasing here to make up part of what you lost in the other.
So this year we took our veterans, like our veterans mentor. So they were able to attend the conference. So we asked people, we can use those grant funds to take them as well. So sometimes it's in addition, so it could be team members that need additional training as well. So it's not always just one person or, so it could be prosecutors and things like that as well.
Chair to entertain a motion regarding the Veterans Treatment Court Fund. That categories 2 and 3 for a total of $14,000.
So moved.
All right, thank you, Mr. McCord. Thank you, Mr. Cotto. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed, same sign. Motion carries, thank you. And finally, I guess, the drug court fund.
I already moved on that, didn't I?
I know, yeah, you did, yeah.
The same increase here is a $6,000 increase in training and travel categories. Again, based on the decrease in grant funding.
I'll repeat my motion to approve.
All right.
Categories 2 and 3. So that would be the total fund, so it takes.
47,000, yep. All right, thank you, Mr. McCord. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lemon. That's close. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Now that's right.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Next, we got the motor vehicle hauler fund. Mr. White, here it is.
First one I was going to start with is the NVH 1176 funding. I know we talked a little bit about personnel, and I kind of concur what the sheriff had to say, is anything you can do would greatly be appreciated. I increased every position's salary up to $3,000. We're kind of the same way with the CDL license. It's hard to find good quality drivers and keep them. The other day we had same kind of thing. We got a new piece of machinery, and we saved about $4,000 or $5,000 a day, but we have to have a Class A license to drive it, plus be trained on that machinery and everything else. So, I got to try to keep good qualified employees on staff. So every position I raised $3,000, except for the assistant superintendent's position, Mr. Gillespie, that started last year with me. I increased his $7,000. The reason I did was because he's like me and he's salary. He doesn't get overtime. And sometimes my road foreman were making more than him during the winter months and storms that we've had. So I would like to make sure he's been there as much as I have, and good quality help, and I want to make sure that he gets paid for his performance. So, and also learning my job on the administrative side. So that's why I increased that so much. Any questions? I'll be glad to hopefully answer if you'd like. And I guess if you want me to go down each line item, I'd be glad to, because there is some changes, and not a lot, but there is some on different expenses.
I would say just highlight the changes, like that.
Sure.
One thing was on travel conference, I went up $500 from $3,000 to $3,500. Overtime, I went from $50,000 to $60,000. Pretty much everything else on that area stayed the same. Software, I went to $50,000. That's at Biolytics that we started our new program, and is working really well. So
With 50,000?
Yep. Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes. Yes.
Whenever I asked him about that, he said, "We're that much."
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So, I was trying to look at some other stuff that has changed. Of course, Social Security, perf, and all that's all figured in. Garage motor, I went from $180,000 to $160,000. Gas, oil, and lube, I went up $5,000. Tires and tubes, I went down $5,000. Contractual services and physicals, drug and alcohol, I did put $1,000 on, because they're charging more for doing our drug and alcohol testing. Uniform and rentals, I went up $20,000, and equipment I left the same, so pretty much all that area has been left the same, 76. You want to go ahead and go with 73 too, because these are kind of combined budgets, if that's all right with you guys. What I do is I take half the year on the everyone except the administrative side. I take truck drivers, equipment operators, I take out of half the year, out of 1173, which is the restricted, because that has to be used on road repair and maintenance. So I do it during the summer months, I pay it out of there, and then the winter months I pay out of 73. So that's why those has truck driver, equipment operators salaries out of two different spots. Stone and gravel, I left the same. Bituminous oil, I went up 100,000 from 500,000 to 600,000. Roads and signs, I left the same. Rental equipment, the same. Paving projects, I went from $1 million down to 800,000. And equipment, I went from 300 down to 250,000. So Just remember that these two do not come out of the county's general fund. These are out of the MVH highway fund. Projected revenue, or these two together, I think was like around 5.3 million. I kind of estimated we'll probably receive around 6 million. Worked with Angie, they really haven't gave us numbers, but I just kind of estimated in the past what it's been. So I figure it'll be around 6 million, but I'll do like I've always done, come back if I need to ask for additional. I'm trying to think.
CD 1.4B for this fund. Let's see. Highway fund. Right now it shows an operating balance of about $70,000 unbudgeted right now.
Yeah.
Good. Which is not high, but
And I think in the 1176, the cash balance is like 2.6 million at the end of this month or something, so.
we're pretty close to what we expect to receive, it looks like, right, based on that.
Yeah. Any other question, or you want me to do one category at a time?
We probably ought to stop and vote on these.
Yeah, there's a lot of categories that we just did.
Right, there are.
I'm willing to make a motion to approve under this is, it's gonna be a combination of MVH Fund 1176 and 1173, but I'll start with the beginning of 1176. Under Highway Administration, Category 2, Category 3. Category 2 is $1,500, Category 3 is $6,500. Under Maintenance and Repair, Supply Account, Category 2 is $154,000. Other Services and Charges, Category 3 is $50,100. Under General and Undistributed, under Supply, Category 2 is $370,000. Category 3, Other Services and Charges is $76,000. Capital Outlay is $50,000. And under Fund 1173, which is the restricted MVH fund, under Maintenance and Repair, Supplies, Category 2 of $925,000, Category 3, $10,000, and Category 4, $800,000. Under Construction and Reconstruction, Capital Outlay, Category 4 is $100,000. And under General and Undistributed Expenses, Capital Outlay, which is Category 4, is $250,000. That covers all of it.
Yes, I believe it does. Thank you, Commissioner McCourt, for that motion. Do we have a second? Second. All right, thank you, Mr. Cudell. Any questions or comments from the council? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries to approve that. Thank you. And next we have Local Road and Street Fund.
And what I'm requesting is the same as last year, 600,000.
Just a real quick check, I think that one has a little bigger operating balance into that. Yeah, the operating balance would be 344,000 plus on that fund with the budget in place.
Chair would entertain a motion regarding Category 4, which is really the whole fund for this, 600,000.
So moved.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lemon.
Second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brinkle. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have Cumulative Bridge Fund, 1135.
Yes. On this one, I lowered the culvert pipes from 200,000 to 170,000. Our bridge inspection, since this is a lower frequency on our bridge inspection, it's a 4-year plan, but this is the second year, so it's a little bit lower, so I had to pay 30,000. There's only like 10 bridges that have to be re-inspected in the second year. And then the next one is Bridge 791, and I'm applying for it in September for a community crossing grant, and I need the 400,000 to make the match and finish the project. And then the next one is Bridge 712 at Branson Street here in Marion, Indiana. We were just awarded $7,770,000 for a federal aid job. Construction for that project will start we'll go to bid in 2030 probably. So, but my main thing is I've got to have $2.5 million for our 20% in that year. So what I'd like to do is next few years is put 600,000 back. So then when that thing goes to bid, we have the money available. We'll have to pay for the whole inspection, then we'll get reimbursed 80% of it, but it's still probably gonna be $200,000 or $300,000 to do the inspection. So that's a total replacement of that bridge, so.
So really what you'll do is you're gonna budget 600,000 in 27, and really it's gonna show 1.2 million in 28. 1.8, okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to add it, accumulate it throughout that time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I don't know, we haven't really talked, Angie and I, about how we wanna just leave it in the account, just to keep knowing that we got it there, but when you see that cash balance, I know what you're going, oh, we can spend it.
There's a reason for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason.
Yeah, so I just, it's, we've been trying for 4 years to get this on the federal aid program, and so we finally got it about a month ago, so it's really nice.
Right now, the operating cash balance would show 971,000 after this budget in that fund.
Right.
And of course, it'll be going up every year if you keep putting back another 600,000 for that. Okay.
Did you get it on the federal aid program because that is part of the truck route, or does it matter?
The biggest reason was because the total project's over $10 million, and we only have to pay 20% of it, so that's why I went for it. Right over here, just north of.
Oh, the big one.
Yeah. It's the only bridge in the county that's 5 spans, so all the logs get caught on it and it won't go through there. So every year we gotta spend about $20,000 to get the logs out of there. So, and we looked at trying to take some of the pillars out, but you can't do that and have the strength for the bridge. So the only way to do it is to remove it all the way. So that's why we went the federal aid route. My opinion, if it's not over a couple $1 million, the federal aid route's not. You have to go through a more guidelines and everything else and to get that money kind of thing. So that's why we've tried so many years to get them to pay for it.
It's not gonna start until like 30 or something like that, 31?
It goes to
How
bid.
long? How long will it take?
It'll probably take a year and a half.
Okay, I thought maybe more than that.
No, it should be a year and a half to build it, so.
Do you know, will both lanes be shut down, or will they?
Yeah, they'll shut the whole thing down. Yep.
Washington Street Bridge will be busy.
We will be.
It'll be replaced after that, with all the extra traffic.
Yeah. All right, Chair would entertain a motion regarding cumulative bridge fund 1135.
So moved.
All right, thank you, Mr. McWhirter.
That'll be the entire fund.
Yes, so the entire.
Categories 2, 3, and 4.
Yep, category 2, 3, and 4 with a total of 1.2 million. Do we have a second? Second. Thank you, Mr. Lemon. Questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have the recycle fund.
One thing I kind of really did on it was I did give the personnel, the director, a $2,000 raise. And then I kind of lowered the contractual service from $25,000 to $20,000. The budget went down approximately $2,000, so everything else pretty much remained the same.
You know that fund is a deficit based on budget, don't you?
Yeah, I know it's real close.
It's like 20.
Well, but you didn't we got a payment in June or July after that was presented.
So this shows 22,359 deficit.
Yeah.
Back into 27 with the funding that's shown in the equation. Comes up to negative. So there's something you received in addition to what we expected to get?
No, we get 2 checks every year. The first, in June, it was 35,000. And then we'll get another one in December, usually 35,000 in that area too. From the solid waste district, we get it every year.
Okay, when we're projecting in 27, $100,000 in receipts. And in the last half of 26, 51,272. So if we're gonna get more than that, that's to your benefit to fund this. But if you're not gonna get any more than that, right now, we can't fund it by $22,000.
But when did that check come in, do you know?
It doesn't matter.
It don't matter.
It doesn't. It's
Yeah,
already
it shouldn't matter on this, as
taken
long as it's included here, it wouldn't matter, as long as it's included. And I mean, I can't say that it is, I'm assuming it's included in there, yeah, okay.
because it's part of the miscellaneous revenue.
It's part of the slate
Yep.
revenue number, yeah. Okay. So that, I mean, based on those numbers, David, we can't fund it by 22,000, almost $400.
I guess we'll cut whatever we gotta cut to make it happen. So,
And then what option, looking at, there's not many options to cut like that kind of course, equipment, 15,000 right there, it can,
What's in your contractual services?
20,000, I would say just cut equipment and cut 5,000 out of contractual services.
so make equipment 0.
Yep.
And then we need another, what, 7,400?
Cut 5,000 out of contractual service, make it 15,000. And then cut,
2,359 to balance to 0. 2,359.
let's take, let's cut, part-time back to 25,000.
Okay.
All right, sounds like then, what we'd have for recycle fund 4013 would be category 2 at 4,000. Category 3, I believe would be 18,500.
Right.
And equipment, category 4 would be 0.
Right.
We'd entertain a motion regarding that.
So moved.
All right, thank you, Mr. McCord. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Scott. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
That fund is a little more struggling now than it has in the past.
Yeah, I will say it has been, so I think it's just everything's going up, contractual services, stuff we have to pay to get rid of and stuff, so.
Does he have one more?
Yeah, the wheel and Surtax.
Wheel and Surtax fund. Looks like the same request as last year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I just made it 800,000. It makes about $1 million a year, but I just want to be safe, so that's why I only request 800,000.
All right. Chair would entertain a motion regarding this fund.
So moved.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cotto.
Second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brinkle. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Like I moved in town. Nothing but traffic down that road.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
They shut down the overpass at 1813.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's being passed through here, and we've already had 2 semis take out the whole corner. It's just like nonstop traffic. I was just kidding him, like, we gotta get that figured out, because it looks like I moved in town.
How did the school buses get through all that? I mean,
Dude, that's
a
800, they come across 13, go down 800 through Meter, and they go back.
right, next up, commissioners. Mr. Stewart.
Good evening, Mr. President. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you guys? Great. To start out, I just want to let you guys know, former Commissioner Middlesworth is the one that put our budget together, but Beth and myself and Marty can help answer any questions that you guys have. So I'll answer anything that you have, but the thing I want to touch on is we're about $1 million more than last year, and the bulk of that is from, I forgot my glasses, central dispatch portion is $483,000 higher. And from what I was told, they get funding from the state that's going to end this year. And so that's the reason for the higher amount. And quite honestly,
No, that's not the reason.
that's not the reason?
No, unfortunately, no. It's the difference between what we get from the cities that we pay into the central dispatch fund
Okay.
and what was requested. I took the difference from those two amounts and added it to what we currently, because we would inevitably have to fund any shortfall, 29-22. So that's why there's such an increase, and that will change.
Okay, that was my. Yeah, and actually,
I misunderstood that.
What we approved tonight, I would suggest we exclude that line item, because we'll know that as we finish the 49-22 fund budget. When we finish that, we'll know what that number needs to be. We don't know that right now.
All right.
So we'll just exclude that from what we'll approve tonight, I would say.
Okay.
We'll do that first meeting of October or whatever.
Thank you, Angie.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
As you can see, last year we appropriated $511,000, which is our share, that's the county's share of that contract. And hopefully it'll be that same number
Okay, well,
in 27. We'll see when we're all said and done.
Okay. No, I'm glad we got that figured out, so. And as far as personnel, it's just, we asked for a 3% increase across the board, except for our drainage board secretary. We asked for 10% for that position just because they were so lowly paid. We're trying to get them up to everybody else. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Legal contractual services was a jump.
Yeah, trying to figure out a nice way to say it. We've got there's some legal things going on that we're expecting to need that higher amount. So.
Yeah, it's a big jump. 52,000.
What's in the contractual services category, which is the 30700, which is about 300,000?
Say that again, Mr. Kitts.
The contractual services, which is account 30700, budgeted in 26 at 300. It's still at 300. I just wondered what was in it.
so janitorial or cleaning supplies, those type of things. That's what we pay out of there.
Which one are you talking? Are you talking about the first one?
Yes.
Because there's two. We have a janitorial and contractual as well.
It's also, it pays for Schneider, which is our GIS, Invoice Cloud,
Yeah, janitorial is a separate line item.
Augusta Consulting was paid out of that, Volt Strategies.
Okay, so that's all of our
Channel
contractual,
27,
not just,
yeah.
okay, sorry, I'm trying to look.
Yeah, I was looking through online, so.
So contractual services, Volt was paid out of that one.
Yes.
Yep.
Do we see a need to keep that?
I think it's beneficial, but that'll be up to the commissioners, next year. So, Sydney does a good job of informing us what's going on as far as, things around the state, things at a legislative level that we normally probably wouldn't be aware of.
How much was that contract?
Is it 60?
50.
50, yeah.
Okay.
Well, she probably tells you more than she tells us. I believe we receive a monthly email.
Okay.
I mean, it looks like it just pulled from a legislative digest or somewhere. It's nothing that she has created. It doesn't look like to me.
Yep.
But I know we receive a monthly
I was gonna say weekly.
I think it's weekly.
I got it. It's a weekly.
Weekly, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a weekly wrap up.
Weekly wrap up, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I guess I'm wondering what legislation that we wanted changed that actually got carried and changed.
Well, I think that was the biggest thing. I remember when we approved it a couple years ago. I mean, it was the fact that she was going to be down advocating on behalf of Grant County.
Yeah.
And I mean, there may be, and I haven't heard, I'm not accusing, I'm not aware of anything that she has advocated that's specifically for Grant County. It seems like there's a lot of things that's lumped in, Grant County is lumped in with things maybe she advocated for, but I don't see the direct benefit.
One of the
to
biggest
us.
things that is coming into play for Grant County is the handbook legislation where as someone is hired, they should be signing that I've read the handbook, I understand the handbook, and I will follow those things. Without that legislation to require,
It's a condition of employment clause within state statute that as we have employees that are employed by elected officials, they have historically been seen as the elected official staff versus the county staff. It's a shift away from individual elected officials' authority to county authority because we pay their salaries and their benefits, basically making them signing and agreeing to the handbook as a condition of employment.
But that's going to happen regardless. That's not happening just on behalf of Grant County, right? Every county in the state of Indiana is.
every county benefits for that, but she did advocate because it affected us. It affects us.
We asked her to do that, you're saying?
But it would happen regardless. If she was in that position or not, that's still going to happen. At least perhaps, I think it will. It's affecting 91 other counties.
Absolutely.
So again, I go back to just seeing that. I don't see that direct benefit to us.
All right.
And I don't know, that's why I'm asking the questions, because I've never seen that direct benefit.
I guess the question came up, would that have been brought into legislation concern if she had brought it for us?
I feel like that she advocated on our behalf because it was important to us, and she talked with other lobbyists that it was important to them, and they said, hey, this makes sense, let's do what lobbyists do and go talk to people and make this happen.
Do we know when that contract expires? Or is it just a 30-day notice?
I do not know.
Mr. Kitts, I want to say it's December or January, but I think it's into February, maybe February. It's February. Yeah.
I know it's not end of the year.
Correct. Yeah.
That's a tough one for me.
I guess I'd certainly suggest that would be decreased by at least 50,000, but I don't know what the other ones are. Contractual services. It's almost like a relook.
Yeah.
Paying for it, because that's a lot of money, $300,000.
One of the ones that Angie mentioned was Invoice Cloud, which is the treasurer's
software.
Right, the software that they use to collect online payments.
Sure.
So that is an expense truly driven by collecting taxes by card. So,
Snyder's important too.
Snyder is our GIS.
Angie, I think you read off like a handful of.
I did.
Yeah.
So Snyder.
So we've, just this year, out of this account, we've paid Amoresco, Applied Innovation, Augusta Consulting, BCS Management, CL Coonrod, which that is for helping the treasurer balance, Kim Search, Everbridge, Invoice Cloud, Malcon, which is to get reimbursement from the state for gas expenses with EMS and other reimbursements. NWECS, I don't know what that is.
WECS.
Off the top of my head, I don't know what that is. Schneider, Securitas Technologies, and Taylor Swifker, Williams Design.
What's the amount for the W?
I can tell you. We paid them $1,190 so far. Monthly inspections, that's what it says.
That
Midwest tank and for the gas
tank.
Yeah.
for the sheriff's department fuel.
You said something.
I'm always used to them being custom tank, not
Augusta
MWE.
Consulting.
Augusta?
Yeah, we didn't re-up with them.
Okay, who was that?
That was Brad Bookout. He was helping us with some economic development.
East Central or?
Yeah, Augusta Consulting, yeah.
So how much was that? Because that could be reduced then from the budget as well.
That was, we paid,
13,000 a month, plus or minus.
yeah, we paid them a total of $58,000, just almost $500.
That's a good chunk.
That's done.
13,000 a month?
It was $14,583.50.
Yeah, I think 150,000 roughly is what we had to contract with them. I was thinking, if this is 13 a month, that's 156,000, so yeah.
14-ish, 14.5 maybe.
14.5 is more I had to
Help us out, Dave.
I knew it was up there.
It's like 174,000 there.
I didn't think we did.
Yeah, it's done. The city has to stamp it before.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right.
I think he was done in the summer, maybe.
Was it? Okay.
So you're not, what? Commissioner Stewart, did you say you're not renewing?
We did not renew with him, no. Yes, sir.
So that's gone for, so that was 175. Right?
174, so it's 14.5 times 12, 174,000.
Yeah.
You could take 225,000 out of it, sounds pretty easy, if those two contracts is
Yeah.
Right.
Fulton and Augusta.
Yeah,
That might have been when he just left it very,
yeah, that could probably definitely come down. Now that we're talking about it and looking at it, I'm not sure why he kept that the same.
You can drop that to 75 possibly.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
I'd leave a little wiggle room in for some things that
Might come up.
will come up, but I think you could definitely cut it in half, safely cut it in half, maybe even more.
Maybe just put it to
100,000.
100,000.
Yeah, I think it's, you guys see any issues with that? I mean, we don't have Augusta Consulting anymore,
right.
so.
At least require you to do
The
something.
thing that if, I mean, I guess I like to have a little cushion, but it's, if we're not paying those, we just have to be tighter with what is,
Yeah.
and people can't just assume that the commissioners will pay it out of contractual because there may not be enough in there to pay it.
If you had 300,000 and 175, let's say was one of them and 50, so that's 125,000. So that's taking it down
Right.
to 75, or giving you 100, so there's 25,000 extra there.
Right.
Because I guess we're giving you the extra 52,000 in the contractual services for legal. So.
Well, I wonder if we should table that. Commissioner Stewart, tell me if I'm wrong. I kind of sensed a little concern there on that account. I'm just wondering, do we need to get in an executive session or something with those concerns, or?
Not as a, right this minute.
Yeah, it just seems like there's gonna be some things come up next year on the horizon that we may need to utilize Marty and Mr. Ormsby a little bit more. And I think that's what former Commissioner Millsworth was thinking, just some things down the road that may come up, so.
I mean, if it's gonna be things that's gonna financially impact the county, then at least as this, I guess it's not gonna be me, but.
I think it's just some.
I just wonder if there's things this body should be aware of, if it's with the council being the fiscal body.
Yeah, at this point, Mr. Scott, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you're almost doubling the legal contractual services budget, so it seems significant.
To that? Can I say something about the contractual?
Yeah.
If I take out Augusta, BCS, Volt, Channel 27, just so far this year on the other items that they, have paid, it's been $142,000.
So far, just
So far this year on those other items
So there's
regardless
been
of.
by the, spent since this page was made then, so.
So I think 100 would give that wiggle room that you said, Jim.
Well, taking out those two items, yes, but what she's saying actually is that the 300,000 wasn't enough.
That wasn't enough.
Yeah, so she's talking you probably need to have it at 200,000 right now, so, or more, sounds like, so. With the things she listed, that if they keep those in the same pace of expense takes place, we probably need 200,000 instead of 100,000, sounds like.
What were those ones you removed?
I removed Augusta Consulting, BCS, Volt, and Channel 27.
How much was that contract with Channel 27?
$2,000 a month.
I remember we did something with them, didn't remember the amount, but we did something with it, I remember. We approved that.
Yeah, I don't even remember seeing anything posted about the county from that.
I remember them coming to us about doing that, though. I can't remember what the amount was, but.
So what are we saying on that account? Did you go back up to 200 or what are we talking about?
Based on what she's telling us there, if those items remain, we need to have more than 100,000.
I'd say 150 is your floor, based on what Mrs.
Well,
Jarvis
we've
just said.
spent 142 already as of this year.
But we know that's an ongoing, if that's, like one-time stuff or,
It's not one time
It's
stuff,
ongoing
it's
stuff.
ongoing stuff, yeah.
if you spent 140 already, we're almost close to that 300,000 for the whole year then.
Right. The only one that would not probably be ongoing is Coonrod, and that depends on
How long it takes to
how
balance.
long it takes them to balance.
How much we spent with them,
That's what I'm trying to find.
Is that typically a yearly thing?
What's that?
Coonrod or what?
No,
No,
it's a one-time, it's a project thing at this point to help the treasurer's office, is what it is.
so far, it's like $2,300.
So it's not very much, it's small, then. Okay,
For
it's
them.
small. Maybe we ought to keep it at least 150 at this point, so.
Did you?
Sure. And that might not be enough, to be honest with you.
You'd be around 210, you'd still covered the rest of this year on average.
Because it sounds like that 216 is a lot higher than what it actually is. There's, in the last 3 months, it's gone up a lot, or whatever, the last 2 or 3 months.
For the legal, are we certain those things are gonna happen in 27, or should we do the 70 and then whatever transpires, and we take care of through an additional?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a
I mean,
possibility.
not knowing what the future may bring.
Do you have anything to say, chime in on that, or is there?
No, we're gonna have one new commissioner starting tomorrow. We're gonna have another new commissioner starting with the beginning of the year. So I'm trying to plan and be as generous on the situation as I can. And it's gonna involve some more time with me and Mr. Ormsby as well. And so we don't wanna, be respectful of the council's authority, but also not to come back as much. We understand the need to make us to come back, so.
We're paying him, that's time.
That's time. You're always welcome, Mr. Harker. You're always welcome.
Appreciate that.
So we leave it where it is, or what are we gonna do?
Thinking it's high, and then, just a thought, just maybe kind of a middle ground thought. Why don't we make the contractual service lines 150 like we talked, and make this a 100,000? So make it a total of 250 between the two accounts at this point. It's something, if there's something they need to come back to us, it's significant above that, they just need to come back to us from.
Makes sense.
You took legal to 100, if you said?
Yes. That still gives them a 30,000 increase to that account.
Angie, I think you were saying something about central dispatch, some explanation. So we need that 990?
We don't.
Okay.
No.
We don't know.
That's what you said.
We don't know the amount, just table that. Yeah, that one, we won't act on that line.
We just want to act on that.
When does that come, or when do you find, how does that?
When we do our final adoption, which Central dispatches salaries only, and they won't do that.
Once we know it's personnel cost, then we can do that total budget, so to speak, we'll know the difference at that time.
Gotcha.
Pictometry's out of whack also.
We
It's
just
already,
got a new billing from them, raising the bill just a hair. It's $3,333.
is there,
So we may want to make that adjust, because that's what it's gonna be.
is there a project the entire year or is it, because we're at 34 already
Right.
and we expended
So
61 last year?
One time.
It's a one-time of the year.
Okay.
We pay that bill one time.
So last year we expended 61 and we're budgeting.
We did, because it didn't get paid the year before that,
Gotcha.
and I had to come and ask.
I gotcha. I see
So
it now.
31's not quite enough?
31's not quite enough, it's 34, so 35,000 would.
35,000? Revised total of $4,016,204 for that category.
I'm sorry, Jim.
Yeah, $4,016,204. If we, on those three accounts with those changes.
But we're not gonna do the 994 tonight either.
Well, that's correct, so I need to take that off the total we're gonna approve, you're right, good point. So it makes it 3,022, 3,022,204.
All right.
Makes sense.
That's what I have. That's what I have.
You have, yeah.
So it sounds like for County General Fund Commissioners, Category 2 is 114,000. Category 3 would be 3,022,204, and Category 4 would be 125.
Mr. President, would you consider entertaining public question and comment before considering motions?
No, I don't think we're gonna do that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. This has been confusing enough.
So are you ready for a motion, Mr. Kiss?
Yeah, I guess
Off the clarity.
that was the total that I had,
Which is 2, 3, and 4, correct?
which is 2, 3, and 4 for this budget.
So I'll make a motion that we approve as we amended it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brinkle.
Okay, and with the tabling of that,
With the table,
Yeah.
we'll revisit that one later.
Yeah, the central dispatch.
Right.
I'll second that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cotto.
The equipment remodeling repair, right,
Yes,
as in here, okay.
as presented,
That they didn't say.
the 125.
Okay.
Yep. All right, with no further questions or comments from the council, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries for that. Next, we have general fund building and grounds.
We removed the part-time budget from that and diverted more money into overtime. Our building maintenance team is currently short one employee and have been working a lot of overtime doing all of the things that they are making happen. We also added 10,000 to uniform rental, because we've been paying that out of contractual, right?
I believe that.
Wild man. So, so that it's more separate and we can track that a little better. Because that's for, the work jeans and the jackets that the, maintenance team has.
Are they
Some of them, not all of them.
Are they scheduling overtime, or is this emergency water line breaks, or, you know?
I think there's a little bit of both. With the removal of the cement in the bathrooms and on the courthouse grounds, I know that they worked intentionally on the weekends so that there wasn't anyone in the way with the heavy equipment being operated. So I believe that was more scheduled, as opposed to if, over the last week, we've had plumbing not working in the courthouse, so I know that they were working overtime to help that. So a little bit of both.
So if you fill the vacancy, you feel there could be the need for the overtime?
I feel like that some of the overtime would be worked regardless.
Not the full amount?
Yeah.
Okay.
So right now, you've exhausted your budget for overtime for the year, right?
They sure have.
So if less personnel as far as the actual individual, there's less that because that's a vacancy. That's not being spent overtime instead, is what we're saying.
When the guy's on call, the maintenance guy, and he gets called in on the weekend, is that overtime for him?
Most generally, yes.
It's a required 2 hours as well.
So it's considered overtime.
A minimum, yeah, considered overtime and a required minimum of 2 hours of overtime.
So most of his overtime has been elective type projects. Is it fair to say?
Has it been difficult to fill a vacant position on that staff for some reason?
No,
Okay, so
they just,
why has it been just pretty recent then or something?
the maintenance director we had one, when did he
He
leave?
left in
September last year?
September last year. I've received about 25
So why haven't we
applications.
filled it?
They have not made that decision.
Maintenance director.
I guess that's up to you guys to do, but it seems like if it's, to avoid all that overtime for somebody, if you put somebody in place.
Agreed.
Yeah, all right. I guess that's not a council decision, it's up to you guys to decide that. Ours is just funding it, we'd like to make sure we fund it reasonably.
I guess if I looked at it though, with the not having a full-time position, that would be at $50,000 plus $20,000.
It could be cheaper for overtime.
Exactly. That's
It could
kind
be, as long as the work's getting done and things are being kept up.
Exactly.
Yeah, I had that thought too, but I mean, if I'm the worker, if I'm then putting too much overtime, it'd be nice to not have to put all the overtime, I guess, unless you share the money and you have the time to work.
Right.
I like to have my free time, I guess, as well.
Yeah. Depends how much
you get, the more valuable that becomes.
It is, it's pretty important.
Yeah, if it's mandated overtime that they have to work, people sometimes don't like that, but sometimes they do like some extra money.
Right, they can go both ways.
Yep. All right, so I guess,
That's personal services, so.
yeah, and really, I guess we're only looking at category 3, for a total of $35,000. Entertain a motion regarding that.
So moved, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brinkle. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lemon. Motion and a second to approve category 3 for $35,000. Hearing no other questions or comments, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we got drainage.
Still got drainage.
And CCD.
That health insurance fund.
Yeah, we got several.
Yeah.
You're here for a while. Just keep adding on.
Yeah.
So Drainage Board, Ron mentioned earlier that was a 10% request for salary increase there. Board member salary stayed the same. An increase in supplies as Mary had mentioned that she's mailing out a lot more notices to landowners. And then legal services was bumped up due to current litigation.
Bumped up, it got doubled.
How's our drainage board get into litigation?
It probably needs to go higher than that.
Will I know which one needs to go there? Which one do you say needs to go?
Legal services for drainage board.
She's at $18,000 that she spent so far this year.
Right, she just got that.
Where did she spend it
Yeah.
from? Oh, it's happened since May. Okay. So we're gonna have to have some kind of a transfer additional coming up out of that.
So, wait a minute, I'm lost.
Unless we're,
For what?
You say she spent 18,000 in legal fees since May?
this year so far.
She had 5,000 budgeted?
Some of that may be paid out of drain maintenance.
Maybe, I don't want to speak for the drainage board, but
I can't.
I know, she didn't necessarily want to take it from the drainage maintenance fund. She wanted,
I don't take it.
If that's an option, why didn't she want to?
I don't know if that is an
I was
option.
gonna say, maybe it's not an option, I don't know.
I don't know either, because again, I don't know.
Yeah, it's been so long since I looked at it, I'm not sure that's an option or not.
But she said she didn't want to take it from the drainage fund because those are monies that the landowners pay as drainage maintenance or ditch maintenance.
Right.
And she didn't think that if there was impending litigation, that all of the homeowners should have to pay that if it was not caused by all of the homeowners.
I think the last time we had a legal issue with a drain, it was paid out of the commissioners.
So we're gonna need to change the stuff that we just approved just a minute ago.
So she can decide on her own to enter the legal?
No.
It's the drainage board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say they're legal.
She's just the secretary, and I was talking to her today about it.
As far as, is that something you can use that for or not in that fund?
And I told her, I said, you need to let your drainage board decide that. That was not, there was no
Along with the advice of their legal counsel, I'm sure.
legal counsel.
Yeah, okay.
So
That's a board of 5?
7.
Who is counsel for that board?
Who what?
Who is the counsel for that board?
Mr. Persinger, and then they have an outside counsel as well for this particular situation that is ongoing.
Well,
I remember.
I don't think you have your question answered yet.
no, it wasn't.
Yeah, I guess
Well, and they probably can't answer it, so I'd like somebody to answer it. I
yeah,
really would.
yeah, I think that we need to know.
How does the
I
drainage
mean,
board get into legal trouble?
in 2024, $1,900, 2025, $4,965, and we're past $18,000 in 2026.
I mean, somebody's making bad decisions
Something's going on,
somewhere.
and we're sitting in the dark.
Anything we can share with them at this point?
Probably can't share it publicly, so I think we'll have to do an exec session.
So you're fully aware of the situation?
Executive session better.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to know because I'm not gonna approve, I guess I'm not gonna vote to approve category 3 then.
Are they gonna ask for additional on that?
Sounds like it.
Well, it depends unless they have it out of the commissioner's budget, some kind of route with the drainage funds, if they can do that maybe, but I don't know.
I don't know what the rules are with the drainage board, so I would not want to speculate that, but,
I guess just a thought, if in fact they are looking at this kind of cost, why would we not go ahead and approve putting that in the budget now?
Because 10 doesn't sound like the right number.
It may not be enough, I mean, it's more they gotta come back for, so let's hope it doesn't happen next year.
Yeah, but I guess I'm hoping between now and October, when we might approve these for personnel, that we might have an exec session to know what's going on, and does this need to be more than 10, rather than approving it at 10?
And maybe potentially more than 18.
Yeah.
We're up to 18 now.
Right.
But we don't know where that's going.
we do have, there is some insurance coverage that will help offset that up to a certain amount. But if it goes over that amount, then,
So when that happens, we still have to pay it first and then we get reimbursed.
Andy, can you tell from your ledger where that's been paid from? What account, what fund? Is it out of this fund that's been paid?
I don't even know who it is, the attorney that we've been.
But if you look at this account, you can see disbursements out of that account.
Oh, you want to know how much?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
there's a chance that maybe.
We have spent nothing so far.
We haven't spent out of this
We have
account,
not
so
spent.
if that's been paid, it's been paid somewhere else. Okay.
That I wouldn't know.
Well, she hasn't even submitted them, because she brought them down
Oh,
to
yes.
today to talk about
Yeah, we
it.
just talked about it today, so.
So they
Oh,
haven't
so it hadn't
been
been paid
submitted
yet.
yet.
Okay. And you don't recall what account she was looking at paying, and she didn't say
Nope,
it?
I told her, I sent her up to Beth because she needed
All
to
right.
talk to travelers.
Gotcha, okay.
I'm thinking we would,
Try to mention it and get ahead of it
Revisit that account later.
today, and since we're, since today's the day.
I'm thinking, I guess I'm looking for a motion regarding supplies category 2 for $500.
So moved, Mr.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brackett, and thank you, Mr. Cotto.
Yeah, so we'll revisit that legal services account.
Yeah, I think we need to, it sounds like it. And, yeah, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries, thank you. Another paper in there for that. All right, and the CCD fund.
4% increase across the board.
I think you're, see the
CCD.
4% increase in what? Oh, you're talking about
Across the
those
board.
account lines, I got you, I see what you're saying. I thought you were talking personnel, but what are you talking about?
3%, 4%, whatever.
I was looking to see what the,
When you got sheriff vehicles, what is that? Is that for like if they go out and buy brand new cars? What are we allocating for? So would that be like 3 vehicles?
Pretty much.
Or would that be
3 or
2?
4.
I thought it was 4.
Someone, like every, it's an annual,
To keep the fleet.
yeah.
Because I guess I'm seeing Tahoes, which again, I circle back to, I don't understand why we can't have something less expensive and something less gas guzzling. Because this all turns into a vicious circle. We're buying less fuel efficient vehicles. We're driving them around, and so it costs us more, and fuel costs more.
Probably insurance too, right?
I don't know, but does everybody need a 4-wheel drive? It seems like it's costing us so much money buying this way. I don't know, maybe I'm just on a
Does
rant.
anybody make patrol cars anymore?
It's the charger, I don't equip they dropped that.
They don't make the Charger anymore.
I don't think Dodge, Ford, or Chevrolet, no.
This year was for 420.
But Dodge has, they have the Durango.
Oh, and they made up the rest from.
Right.
Durango Explorer.
So they bought 4 Chevy Tahoes this year.
Yeah.
And the 150 was not quite enough to pay for it. They made up the rest through commissary.
Right. So 150,000, yeah, it wasn't enough. But,
So who decides?
they don't have Explorers anymore, they don't make Explorers anymore.
I think we're limited, unless you're a pickup. And then you're talking the same thing.
Yeah, those are overpriced,
Yeah,
right?
Fairmont got Teslas.
Traverse.
Yeah.
A Traverse instead of a Tahoe. It's a smaller vehicle.
I
But
mean,
that would be comparable to your old
they've got
Impalas.
a budget they can live within, so I guess if they
Yeah,
want 3 vehicles instead of 5, that's
I
all
guess.
right.
The other vehicle line, is that for all other county vehicles or?
that fund, with the budget that's in place here and with the revenue and so forth that's in the equation, would show about a $612,000 cash balance. So it's fundable, just a matter of.
Yeah. Right on. All right. Chair would entertain a motion regarding, really this entire fund, which would be a total of $447,200 for categories 2 and categories 4.
I'll move for approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. McCord.
As presented.
Second. You got it.
All right.
Who got it?
You don't have any.
Thank you, Mr. Brinkle.
Suggestions on the vehicle.
All right.
Whoever's buying, they just buy it. Right, you're just like, stuck with it.
Who did you give it to? I gave it to Mr. Brinkle.
Yeah, Rankle's on my notes then.
All right.
3 really nice vehicles, would you rather have 5? You know, I guess that's, their decision.
Yeah, don't come to us later asking for 2 more.
Any further comments or questions regarding this? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And then I think we might be at your last one, which is the health insurance.
We're almost to you, Marcus.
Yeah, no kidding.
2-minute warning?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't know, 2 minutes might not do it.
10-minute warning?
Should be more optimistic at 8:30, Beth.
This is all personal services.
And I did some analysis of this, you guys jump into, but in preparing for budget, I did some review of the health insurance fund, had a conversation with Angie doing that. I suggested bumping the budget up to $7,500,000 from $7,300,000 based on just claims and so forth. I think that's an adequate number based on the trending and what I see. And we can fund that with keeping the current revenue stream in place. I would suggest that the expected receipts would be $6,200,000 again in 27, like it is in 26. And that's keeping the employee contributions the same, keeping the county's contributions from the funds as employer share the same as well. I mean, if you wanted to bump up a little, you could, but I don't think you need to at this point, based on what our financial picture looks like. What I would show, based on the equation, it gets to that point, June 30, 26, our cash balance in the fund was just under 6.6 million. And I expect to get a little over 3.3 million the last half of the year, spend just under 4 million the last half of the year to give a expected December 31st, 26 cash balance of just under $6 million. Okay, just under 6. And then in 27, if you bring in the 6.2 million I'm expecting, and if you would spend all 7,500,000, which I don't think you'll spend all 7,500,000 unless something unusual happens, you would have over 4.6 million still in cash in the fund. So in my mind, you're okay leaving things as they are. And as like Angie put together the spreadsheet that shows where the money would come from the funds and so forth, the revenue. So I would say you leave it as it is. That's my suggestion to you. If you want to do something different, you can. If you guys want to add something to anything you might have heard that's different.
One line item that we have recently found an amendment in is the wellness incentive line of that $13,650. This wellness incentive line is a contractual payment to a company called WellWorks. WellWorks administers our wellness program. Any of you have used that portal? It is not friendly. So basically we require our employees to have a physical, 2 preventative screenings, and watch 3 online videos through this portal. It's cumbersome, it's expensive, and they don't pay us anything for that. This wellness incentive is what we give a discount on health insurance to our employees if they keep themselves healthy. This company wanted to raise our rates $2 per person. Now, it's not per employee, that's per person, including spouses. We have decided not to continue with them in the future, rather taking that workload of verifying the wellness items internally.
Use somebody instead, or just?
We're going to do it internally.
So you're saying remove the 13,650?
Yes.
But okay, and if you do that, I would say just add it to line 1, the 6,321,000. So you make the full budget 7,500,000 still.
Yep.
There's no reason to shave that budget down for that.
Yep.
We're talking general terms. So.
I just wanted it to be accurate.
Okay, I appreciate
We
that.
just didn't, we didn't see any use. I mean, like she said, the program is cumbersome. It's a pain in the, you know what, our employees, they're busy enough. They don't need to watch 3 videos just to do busy work and check the block.
And the amount of time that I spend answering questions and sitting through meetings with the company will more than make up the time that I spend administering it in-house.
is there anything you've heard from our insurance people
I'm
that
meeting with
would,
them tomorrow.
that would change this comment
They
tonight?
feel the same way we do, because I had a brief conversation with our broker about this item, and he said, I'm so glad you feel that way. They don't like dealing with them anymore.
But in terms of, okay, forget that item, and that's,
oh, sorry,
so this
I
whole
was-
big picture, that's this big.
Yeah, sorry,
You guys can take
you're
care of
talking
it,
whole
that's fine.
picture.
But I'm talking in terms of, from a
have
claims history standpoint, from.
We have reduced a couple of our higher spenders due to retirement, or not retirement, aging out, turning 65. So not saying that those won't be replaced by someone who is going to have higher claim amounts. There's no way to know that. But I would say, at least in the near future, we're going to see a little relief on that.
Well, our claims, looking at first half of 26, projecting that for the last half of 26, like a 3.5% increase, which is not bad, it's pretty good, really. So what I use is a 4% increase in the budget to make it 7.5. And like I say, our revenue piece and the cash balance structure we have is adequate to fund that. Even if we had to spend the whole 7.5 million, it would take care of us. But, I don't think based on history, we shouldn't have to spend that much. I mean, obviously, I can't guarantee it. It shouldn't be that much. But we should be able to absorb what we're doing with what we stand with currently.
And we'll review our stop loss carrier. So they do something called a laser for someone who is a higher claimant, where they set their stop loss threshold higher. As of last year, we managed that with the carrier that we chose. That's something we can do again to make sure that our stop loss will kick in earlier on the higher claimants.
You can see from the sheet that Angie has put together for us, it shows where the source of the 6.2 million would come from, the various funds, and part of that's employee withholdings, which is 450,000 the total, retirees 20,000, stop loss 100,000, and the miscellaneous things that just take place throughout the year, $300,000. So the 6.2 million is funded by those sources. And we'll get to this when we get to the seeded fund later. I'm suggesting the same amount there, the 1,886,000 that we have been using last year in 26. So, any of you guys have any questions for me as far as how I got to those numbers? Or?
So the $200,000 increase is from the 4%.
Yeah, it would project, claims expense history. I see it going up a little bit, but again, we have enough in our cash reserves to absorb that without increasing what our funds pay. You can always say, well, let's put a little more than we have been. I'm just saying you don't have to at this point. You can let it ride, I think. I did the same kind of analysis this year that I've done for how many years now, same thing. So I feel good about that. You just never know about the unknown, of course, no crystal ball, but we should be in good shape to handle it.
I can entertain a motion regarding the health insurance fund 5,200, the amount of 7.5 million.
Oh, we took off that. Well, that's right. We took off the 13,650, we added to line 1, so the total of 7.5 would still be there. And that would incorporate, the motion should approve this budget, and also the funding stream that we've put in place at 6.2 million, keeping the per employee cost for employer the same, and employee withholdings the same, too. All that's encompassed in that whole scenario, so.
So looking for a motion?
Yes, sir.
So moved.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cotto. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And if you didn't have any question on that, then you're okay with it, we just talked about that, you're fine. Okay. Yeah. I thought you were.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next time we'll put IT before the commissioners. Yeah, exactly.
You waited all this time.
Yeah.
Hey, gentlemen, you're the last, he's the last one.
Am I the last one?
Yeah. You're the last one.
For tonight.
For tonight, well, yeah.
Oh,
We're only halfway
man.
through the whole.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna be running the meeting anyway for the WebEx, so that's all right.
So it doesn't matter.
All right, gentlemen, you just want me to start from the top? And, okay, so I will make a comment on the salary piece. So on the, overall, I mean, I meant to put a 3 to 4% increase just for cost of living. I used the data processing salary comparison. I calculated it all in there, and I copy and pasted that to the requested budget. That looks like that's somehow less than the 2026 adopted budget, so I don't know if that's part of that.
It's because of the extra.
All that, I remember, he had a question about that. Yeah, so I just wanted to make a comment on that. I know you gentlemen aren't gonna act or comment on that, but I just wanted to bring that up. All right, so the first item was contractual services. I apologize for the sticker shock on that. I was still waiting for my numbers and stuff from my vendors, so I shot it high so that way we can bring it back down lower. For contractual services, I put a $30,000 increase. And that's basically to accommodate for some services that we initially bought a couple of years ago that were bundled in a 5-year plan back in 2022 for our data center project. And those are now going to be outside that 5-year. So now we're going to be paying annually for them. So when
you say data center, it's different than.
Yeah, not the AI data center. Like I said, I'm not too happy with them right now because they foiled my plans a little bit for next year. So I'll get into that once we get to the equipment side. But yeah, so it was to account for $6,000 for our Cronus Cyber Protect backup. That's our primary backup software. It backs up all our servers. The other one was FortiCare Plus for our firewall. It was $5,200 is what they gave me an estimate on it. And then for the switches that were bundled with it, it was $3,500. So, I mean, I could probably get through it with $220,000, but I just left it at $230 just to have a buffer in there because we also have vendors that help us with our firewall.
You're talking about the account that shows us 300,000 now, you want to make it 230,000, is what you want to do.
Well, it wasn't ever 200, it wasn't ever 300,000.
On our budget sheet.
Yeah,
300,000.
Yeah, I requested it because I was still figuring out my numbers.
Now you're saying it's 230.
Yes, correct. Yeah, correct. Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. Like I said, no, it was never going to be that high.
Okay, so 230 is the number.
I highballed it so I could.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you had some sticker shock there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I said, I tried to give you a heads up. So
230 is.
Yep, 230 is what I'm asking for that. So
what about the security software?
The security software. So if you want to talk about that item, so
it's going from 20,000 to 50,000.
Correct. So the reason why over the years we've been able to bring that down is the state IoT had offered us CrowdStrike, our antivirus endpoint threat protection software. They offered that for free at no cost to the county. So over the years, I've been able to lower that down. Back in 2024, I believe we did have it at 50,000. So over the years, I was able to get it down to 20. But now that
they're having funding cuts and stuff up there, and now they can't do it for free. They have to do it at a heavily discounted rate. So for us to keep CrowdStrike, it was 19,000, and I rounded it up to 20. So yeah, so I just had that set to 50. But I could probably get away with 40,000 on that one, on that particular.
You're saying 40 could work?
Correct, yes. Because I was still waiting for them, because the state was still negotiating pricing with CrowdStrike.
And the FTR maintenance.
Yeah, so this one, I am wanting to do a project next year to upgrade the court's audio software. As you gentlemen know, we updated the Zoom software for the video conferencing. So back in 2015, 2016, that's when a lot of that equipment was installed, brand new. So it's a little over 10 years old. And Superior Court 2, they actually had their system go down at one point this year, so I had to eat some money out of my equipment to get that replaced. So basically I had Forte, I had them get a quote of how much it would be to update all the audio systems for the 4 remaining courtrooms, and to also upgrade the assisted listening devices for the courts.
So should that be equipment instead of this maintenance?
We can.
Where does it make sense for it to be? Are you actually buying a piece of equipment, or are you looking to?
Well, it's equipment and services, so it's all tied into the FTR, like their court recording software.
Okay,
so that was kind of my thought of putting it in there. Equipment probably could work for it, but
it doesn't really matter as much. I just want to make sure we have it where it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, so that was my thought process on it.
So you got one quote?
Yeah, I just got one quote for now, but obviously next year when I go to do it, I would have to get 3 different quotes. So it could be cheaper, and I told them to kind of have a buffer in there for them, so it probably is inflated a little bit because it's for next year. So
what do you want that account to be at this point?
I would be comfortable with the 70. But the other thing,
you want to keep it at 70 or so?
Yes, for the FTR maintenance, if that's the one that we're.
That's right.
Yes,
that's what we're
correct. I would like to keep it at that. That being said, the other thing we could.
And that is strictly for the courts, that difference, that thing you're talking about doing is strictly a court?
Yes, it's strictly for the courts, correct. And the one other thing we would, I would try to go for, with your gentleman's permission, would be the court reform grant. So I know we did that in the past, and they were able to cover some costs, but not all of it. So I work with Chris Cunningham. He's the grant guru. So, that's something that could also help maybe shave off 20, 30,000 from that, and then I don't have to spend that money. So that was the other thing I was kind of looking at doing to be that. So I probably won't spend all that, but obviously the court reform grant is not a guarantee.
Right.
So.
And you're looking at what you're talking about, is replacing equipment that's like 10 years old. So obviously that's probably pretty
good. We can, you could let it ride and we just replace it as it goes, but with it being the courts and.
Have you spoken to the judges? Because it seems like maybe like Indiana Judicial Center and some other avenues, that there may be grant opportunities to pay for stuff like this. Have you
I have not. Chris, he's kind of my gateway into that, because I know he works with the courts a lot. So, through Chris, he's the one I found out about the court reform grant. So that was my thought process behind that one.
What about the equipment? That's a big one.
Yeah, the equipment, once again, I'm keeping it the same as last year, so it's not really 300,000.
It's 350 on our paper.
Right, yeah, 350. Yeah, once again, that was loaded numbers because I was still getting pricing from my.
You want it to be what? You want it to be what?
Yeah, I want it to be the same as what it was this year, so I'm not changing that.
All right, that's 212,000.
Correct. So initially, I was going to go and get our our servers refreshed because they're coming up on 5 years. But the AI data centers have made the component market very volatile, and the cost of equipment has doubled in some cases. Back in June, I had our vendor give me an estimate just to kind of give us a 1-for-1 of our current setup. So it's not any faster, not any better, it's just newer and would get support. It was $450,207. And back when we did it in 2022, it was a little over $300,000, and that also included switches and firewall and all the maintenance and work to install it. So, yeah, somebody cleaning. So it's a little bit of a sticker shock, and this was back in June or July when I put that in, when I got that, and I've heard it's went up since then, and supposedly there's going to be another increase in server equipment here in the next month or two. So I was advised by my vendors basically just to wait, and they recommended let me see if I can pull that up. He basically recommended they have a 2-year software extension through Scale, and that was a little over 67,000. And then for the hardware, it was only about 3,000 for it to get it covered.
So you're good with the 212,000 for equipment?
Correct, yeah. So basically in that 212,000, I had it set up to where it had the lease payment. So we just paid that final lease payment this year. So next year I'll be able to use those funds to put towards the 2-year agreement, and we'll be locked in, so that way the price won't go up on the support for the next 2 years. It'll give us a 2-year extension on it. So that way it'll buy us time to see what hopefully the market, they come out of it and stuff gets better. That's my hope, is that it will, but obviously it's kind of hard to tell. But, so that was my thought process on my equipment line item.
All right then. So I think Chair would entertain a motion regarding other services and charges category 3, and I think that total would then be $383,500. And then the equipment category 4 would be $212,000.
So moved.
All right, thank you, Mr. McCord.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Lemming. Any other questions or comments from the council? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, thanks again, gentlemen. Appreciate your time.
That's all good.
Yeah, I apologize again for the sticker shock.
And what we'll do is just recess until next Wednesday, August the 26th at 6 o'clock. And we will be going to court. Yeah, of course, Superior Court 1.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Thank you, we're done. Hey, no problem, guys. Signing off. This is WKRP in Cincinnati.
It's been a while. You're right.